Hello and welcome to another brand new Unsourced Radio. I'm being joined here by Doug and Tony once again. We're making our way through the VHS series, and we're doing a two for tonight. We're going to look at VHS 2, which people call the best, or at least where the series gets good. And we're looking at the first spin-off, SiREN. Now, it's not the first spin-off. Technically, I think it came out before or after one of the other ones, but it at least is tied to last week's one, the original VHS. So we're going to talk about it a little bit after, because unfortunately we have a lot of things to say about that one. Um, but we'll start off with VHS 2. But first, let's move around the table. Tony, you go first. Short little log line about how you felt about this, and we'll move ahead with that one to Doug, and then to each individual segment.
For sure. Yeah. So, as I brought up on the last episode, I've always been into the VHS series, and I often credit this exact film with like earning a lifelong fan because when I watched this back in 2013, it like tore a hole in my brain. And now I have like a nitrous addiction, and this is the nitrous. And every time I see this poster, I say, more nitrous, please. And it just makes me happy. It not happy because I'm seeing people die, but because it is just such a great exploration of like what you can do with the medium, both in found footage and in horror. There's a lot of subversions of tropes that we've seen a dozen times. There's playing into those tropes in ways that, even though we've seen them before, they're done to like an nth degree. I just think this is a really exemplary thing you could point to in terms of how to do not only a found footage film right, but also how to do any anthology film right. It actually has things to say. And every time I revisit it, I've seen this movie probably like a dozen times. Every time I revisit it, I think to myself, oh, is this going to be the time I'm going to, fall out of love with it? No, I actually love it even more this time around.
All right, you up,
Okay.
Doug?
Yeah, on to me. Yeah, well, like I said on our first edition of this, that I'm a newbie to the series. I've seen. I'm not even sure which one of the later Shutter ones I've seen. Like I'll realize as we're going through, I'll be like, okay, this is the one. It was like 90 something or something that I saw, but the first one had one fully good one, and then there was like a kind of a jumble of like some that I'm like, okay, these are like kind of uh like decently executed, or it's like there were pieces there. It was either partly compellingly executed or part of an idea. Like there was like lacking of like wholeness in that first one, and just the vibes were not my favorite in terms of, especially like how rapey that first one starts. This one a lot smoother in that department. Like, yes, there are parts where women are being filmed without their knowledge, but like it's not ju- only about that. And like the movie is like making it clear that, like, yeah, those guys are, when when they're doing and some of the times we see it, or it makes sense contextually for why we're seeing that, so it doesn't feel as gross as the first one in that way. Overall, I would say, this is still pretty hit or miss. For me, there's like one that's like a fully, like, I'm like, yes, hell yeah, that's why this exists, or it's worth watching just for this one. And then I would say overall, there's better ideas that make me want to keep go, like that, where I'm like, okay, you're at least like trying with something, because like that was a big issue with the first one, where I'd say there'd be like part of an idea for like maybe a couple of them, but a lot of them just feel like there just wasn't any idea there. Like this one, at least like the like premises are solid. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, of like that's going to be a short for this one. Like the execution varies even within like the shorts themselves, like might start off like kind of stronger and then maybe lose me more by the end, besides the one that I'm like fully on board for. But yeah, I mean, it I don't regret watching it. I would say it's a lateral move from the first one.
I actually agree with a lot of you said, Doug. While yes, in the first one, a lot of those segments were very patchy. A lot was undercooked, underwritten, and the themes were just very, very exploitative and it's provocative, but like not with any kind of meaning or care or depthness to them. This one is a lot more consistent. I won't say that it has, segments that I think are, or moments that are better than some of my favorite moments of the first, but I would say that this is a more entertaining watch all the way through. There's nothing here that I say I didn't like. Like, oh no, this one was awful and this one was
Yeah, what was
boring
the
or
slasher one
lame.
from the first one?
Uh,
The
Tuesday the
Thursday.
Tuesday the 17th. What a
Yeah, there's nothing
gimmicky
that
ass title.
bad.
Nothing, nothing
Oh
bad.
no, absolutely not.
Everything here is very least, in my opinion, like a 3 out of 5. Like just it's a solid. It's a solid anthology movie. Like I wouldn't say like, oh, this is my favorite. Like I wouldn't go back to this per se, but if it was on, like yeah, sure, why not? Because it's just smooth, easy viewing. I think overall. All right, so let's head into these. Okay, so first we have let's just do the prologue. Let's just do the framing device because you know as with this and viral next week, hopefully, these still feel a need to be like, well, let's have someone watch these, but we're watching them. So again, it makes no sense. This one is written and directed by Simon Barrett. It's about a couple of PIs who decide to go into a house to find someone. And there's a bunch of VHS tapes around. So like, you know what? This house looks abandoned and creepy. Let's watch some of these videos. And they're really thinking out of the box here. So um, and turns out that the watching VHS tapes turned into a zombie. I guess that's the gimmick of this one. And then they get killed.
Well, I wanted to borrow something that Doug said, right? Like lateral move, right? I feel like this is just the lateral move of what that first wraparound was, right? And you can tell because obviously it's written and directed by Simon Barrett again, right? And the first shot of the film, right, is they're going in there, right? And you see them like peeping on somebody in a motel, right? And if you've seen the first VHS, you're like, oh shit, here comes the perv
Yeah,
stuff
we're
again,
going
right?
again. Yeah.
Exactly. But then you get that subversion of like, oh, these guys are, being hired by somebody to show that this guy's cheating on his wife, right? And, or at least to blackmail them, right? And I think that while the concept itself still is exploiting women, it's still rather misogynistic, right? To, just put the image of the woman there just for the sake of titillation to then, try to subvert it in that way. However, I do think that this is showing that specifically Simon Barrett and Adam Wingard, we'll get into Wingard later, but also just the guys who are producing these films understood they went too far with a lot of the things in the first movie. And throughout this film, I feel
Is
like
that
there's...
accurate? Was that
Sorry?
really is that accurate? And we have Rigby Gender in the comments. Is this accurate?
It seems like somebody they claim to be, so I don't see why they wouldn't be.
I mean, I'm saying like their comment, Simon Barrett's penis.
Simon Barrett penis.
Oh,
I don't think he shows it.
He's the guy in the motel, right?
Oh my God, yes, because he's a baldy. Yes, that's totally him.
He's bald. Yes, that's him. He's caught him by his baldness. Anyway, thanks,
Yep.
Rigby. I'm glad you're here.
I can recognize that head anywhere, and I mean both.
he
That's
had
so
some moves.
funny.
Okay, he had some moves. Okay.
And like I said, like there's more ideas here overall. Like I agree we don't need a wraparound narrative, but at least even if this is kind of just the same thing of like, oh, some tapes in a house, how we get there works for me better here.
Anything higher move than rape weirdos. Rape porn
Right,
weirdos.
right. Because even
Yeah.
they're like kind of sleazy, like they're blackmailing this cheating the cheating Simon Barrett, but like they're at least like I like that concept of like I mean I'm not even sure if they're just like partner PIs or if they're a couple, whatever that dynamic is. I mean, if that's actually gonna be characters we were following, like maybe we could have fleshed that out more. I especially feel like the female partner gets like really underserved, like or maybe I mean I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to just be like she's a bad actress, but like none of her stuff really works for me.
I mean, to be fair, like I wonder because I don't think the actors, the actresses in these wraparounds actually watch the shorts, so they're like,
Yeah.
like you're just gasping at nothing. So like I don't know, it's hard to do. I
It's
would
kind of like
say.
how Marvel movies are made now. You
Yeah,
don't even know
exactly.
what you're. It's like, oh, I don't know.
VH,
Bucky's being disintegrated over there.
you
Oh,
could say that the VHS series is the MCU of the horror of the horror community. I would say it. I'll say it loud and proud.
I'll, I'll say that watching Marvel movies does turn you into a zombie as well.
All right. So actually, here we go. So here's some trivia. Rigby says the demon girl from Amateur Night is the first one, and the first one's actress. Does cons by error sometimes. I need to get to one at some point. Yeah, no, I would say that's pretty cool. Tell her that SiREN is not her fault.
yeah. I don't believe. And actually, I would pitch to her of like, hey,
Let's do a
let's take.
SiREN too.
Yeah, we'll just call it. You know how they remake a thing or reboot it, but you just use the same. Let's just call it,
SiREN Rebirth.
or
No,
just drop Siren. Let's just call it Succubus or something.
yeah, exactly. That would be better.
Let's not, yeah, let's call it succubus. Come on, let's do it. I mean, such cowardly moves in that one. But you were saying, Tony, about the rest of this.
Oh yeah, for the short, right? Like for me, the wraparound is always the least important for any anthology film, right? And for me, I'm grading this and any other wraparound segment on a curve. I don't think there's maybe like a handful of good wraparound segments in any anthology film, right? And when I say good, I mean like better than just serviceable. So for me, I see this more as like an intention bearer, right? It's more so trying to put its foot forward, and I think it's just a more clean presentation. Like I feel like in the first film, we had these kind of like hooligans, and there was like confusion on how much they were in or in on it, and not in on it, and then there was the intercutting of like their past and stuff like that. We don't need to muddy things up anymore. This is very streamlined. This is very like, okay, here's the setup. We're going to get to the tapes. And I feel like they don't really fuck around. And I like that about this.
I would say the house is creepier in the first one's wraparound, but I'm not invested in those guys, so I kind of just don't give a shit. But in terms of like if we were actually like to flesh that out, that's the problem with the wraparound thing as a whole. It's like okay, either make it a full story or just don't have it, because it's like, if we're gonna cut back to them in the house, then I want like things to happen there, but like you said, I think this is ultimately better because of how streamlined it is, because the quote unquote things happening in the first one's iteration are like nothing. So yeah,
They're muddled.
Yeah.
I agree with Doug, but I think that is when we get to the Shutter ones, that is a bit of a double-edged sword, because some of the Shutter ones, as we mentioned, the wrapper on the framing device is just another segment split up into chunks. And like why don't just make them I would rather watch this just in one go, rather than okay, here's 5 minutes of this other segment, and then we're gonna back to a full length one again. Like, just show me the entire
By
thing.
breaking it into acts, am I gaining anything like in terms of like
No,
the
like
momentum?
with Beyond, I'm like, this could just show the entire thing, man. With Beyond, like, come on. We can see where this is going. There's not really suspenseful. Anyway,
Why don't they just get the Crypt Keeper back? Imagine if like the Crypt Keeper was like, here are my VHS tapes.
right? These are as old as me, and that's why he looks like that, because everyone who remembers VHSs are old as hell. But no, okay. So I did like the where it comes around at the end of the framing device segment, where like, okay, so he killed himself, and then they in like real time moves away from the camera. They come in, everything kind of like circles back. That was
a
really
fun
cool.
reveal. Yeah,
that was slick. I think the way they framed that and blocked that was pretty slick.
Also, like the prosthetic of his chin, right?
that
like with
gnarly.
his tongue hanging out. That's amazing.
Yeah, it just kind of it's like float. It's like both his jaws in halves to the side, like wings on his face. It's crazy. I love that visual. It's a really good visual. But yeah, no, I feel like you either make this shorter or make it a full length segment. I mean, but it's better than the first one, because at least the first one was really annoying, not only because of how gross it was, but also because in that framing device, it would also do that scritching and scratching where it would come back to different rape videos they were making, rape porn they were doing, right?
Right, like
And
they
like,
taped over another tape, and
yeah,
they don't even attempt that in this of
yeah.
like, oh, we use because I
But that was
yeah.
confusing. 'Cause I was like, are we going to another segment? And like that got confusing to me at least. Like this is getting annoying. So I'm glad that that didn't happen this time overall. Uh, let's see here. But I really got nothing else about this one. You guys, we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, sure.
The only thing I'll say about this segment, just to end off like my final thoughts on that, right? Like I feel
Mhm.
like the conclusion to it, right? While I don't think it's a great standalone segment, if that was just like that plus everything we'd seen before was a
Oh,
segment in a VHS film, I probably would feel like, okay, this is pretty crummy, right? But it wouldn't be one of the worst. And if I'm just to take the ending of it, when you get that reveal of them coming into the house right at the same time, and then like the fight, and then into the closet, I think
yeah.
all of that stuff is rather dynamic,
No,
and I
yeah,
don't
no.
think that Simon Barrett's a bad director. I think that his strengths just lie more in writing, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the things that we take issue with in the front end of it stuff, it's just like drawing out the obvious, right? and and,
Yeah.
and there really is no way for it to do it in a truly engaging way, right? They're literally just doing the same things. They're literally just sitting there watching tapes. You got to find a more dynamic way, but not in the way that you were saying, Elvis, because you're right. Like cutting up a segment into something that's just like, supposed to be its own thing, it just doesn't fit.
They're gonna get airdropped videos. That's gonna be the new wraparound.
Yeah. And you know what?
Drop two.
Where we dropping, boys?
That's what Drop would have been like, and it wouldn't be my third least favorite movie of the year. The Drop sucked. Oh my god.
A movie that definitely takes place in Chicago, because they keep saying like improv, the Blackhawks.
Brendan Sklenar,
Cubs.
Brendan Sklenar is so boring in that
He's
movie, but
he's AI. He's not a real person.
he's not.
I watched that full movie
It's
and I'm not
it's so
convinced.
funny. It's so funny that people keep on posting like clips from Yellowstone, but like, hey man, here's him like not playing like a period piece kind of dude. All right, how so why
Yeah,
not
you
use
want him
clips of
to
that?
play Batman for 10 movies? I'm like, no. That doesn't sound interesting at all.
All right, so we have Phase One clinical trials, directed by Adam Wingard and written by Simon Barrett. Speak of the devil. Tony, why don't you take this one? Give us the breakdown. What happened in this one?
So this is kind of a redo of Amateur Night slash a like Adam Wingard cheesy horror bonanza, right? It's a very simple premise. Adam Wingard himself gets into a car accident, so he gets an eye implant that allows for him to see again. But the problem is that the eye is recording at all times and the doctors are watching. Also, even worse than that, the eye actually unlocks a frequency in which he's able to like actually see ghosts, and the more that he acknowledges them and the more that he's threatened by them, the more that they can threaten him back. And as we go through the short, we are introduced to a new character who had like listening, sorry, what's the word? How am I losing this?
She had
This is that
hearing loss.
Yeah, she had hearing loss. She had the hearing aids in. That was the word I was looking for. She has hearing aids that allow for her to also hear ghosts, and that's how they're bonded in that sense. They, have sex to distract each other in a pretty like boringly, here's a sex scene kind of way. And then after that, when she's passed out, he wakes back up. He's too threatened by the ghosts, which allows for them to become an actual threat in the scenario, ultimately leading to both of their demise in pretty inventive ways. I think this is overall a pretty solid entry, right? This is fun house horror. This is like you go through the little like maze, you see some like weird looking mirrors, right? And you walk out and you're like, that was pretty good. That's my like general thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I thought this was really, really strong, at least as an initial one. I think that maybe, even though I might like a couple of the other ones a little better, this one I thought was like, the Halloween one, the ending, the last segment of the first one, where I just like the structure of it. I don't feel like I lost anything. I understood the characters, understood the premise and the threat. I thought they had fun sequences that weren't too short but didn't drag on. It felt like a little meaty little piece of story there. and I had a lot of fun with it. And it reminded me of things like the Eye and Pulse and 13 Ghosts. It has all of that kind of the tinges of that in there. So I had a lot of fun with it. I have no complaints, and I think it was really really cool.
Yeah, I like that comparison to the Radio Silence Halloween one from the first one, because that one, I think I mentioned, like, had like a video gamey feel, but like in a positive way, where it kind of just gets you right to, like Tony, you said, this is like a fun house ride, and like that's basically what clinical trials felt like, of like, oh, this would be like a really cool game concept to play, and especially like the idea of, that's the main thing I wish that they had elaborated on more, is that when the girl shows up with like the hearing, of like more interesting ways to combine those, because like she's kind of just like already checked out of it and is like, yeah, I can hear that ghost there, all right. She's just telling us stuff we already know, but like revealing it in a way of that she heard it, whereas like if we could have found, like, I can't think of an example, but like a new way to use that ability, that where they could have like combined ability, and I don't need the ending to be changed. Like, yeah, still have the ghost be victorious, because I like that, but like, I don't know, just like kind of give her something more to do. Like you
I
said, like
agree.
that
I
sex scene
agree.
was kind of boring, and I agree that it was, like, but I like the idea itself of like, oh, we need to just stimuli to distract ourselves from the ghosts, but they don't like do, like, they just have sex once, and then that's it. Like, they're like, I feel like they should be doing like Crank, basically. Like, they should just be like, okay, we're just gonna like do a bunch of drugs and like fucking like doing shit to ourselves, and then also, why do they stay at the house? Like, because are the ghosts
Yeah.
bound to the house, or?
No, but like what I walked away with is that girl, you know, seems like she had a pretty good beat on things overall. It's hearing related. She mentions like loud music and stuff, things that you could easily drown out hearing stuff with. Um, and this guy clearly can't not panic at all. So she killed herself by going there. Honestly, she led to her own demise, because he does everything. Every time you see him, he's like, even after she tells him, like, the more you look at them, more you acknowledge them, the more dangerous they get. And she sees like a bloody fat naked guy in the distance. Like, he says, "Oh my God, there's like a bloody naked guy
And he
behind
keeps
you."
going to the
Like,
bed when he knows there's gonna be a ghost under cover. Like, what do you think that's her under there? That's like, no.
he is such a, yeah. We know what Wingard. He's doing about the acting. He's like Oz Perkins. I need to see him act again. Okay, enough of the
Wingard's a
directing.
really good actor.
Enough of this directing phase. Get back to acting.
Enough
But,
of this.
but yes, Rigby saying I adore clinical trials. Wingard, my favorite directors. I like him. I think he's
Based.
had some duds. But I know what, I'll forgive everything, because Death Note is so fun.
I mean, and he did guess the year after this. Like,
Your
Yeah.
Next is a classic. Do as many shitty Godzilla movies. I don't care.
call up Dan Stevens again. Ask him to do a silly accent. Be like, he likes doing those.
So,
Rent out a house, get some people who do gore effects, right? Just make it happen, right? If Radio Silence can do it with Abigail, right, then he can do it, right? But I wanted to get back to what we were saying about this lead female character. I don't know her name. I wish I did.
Is it Clarissa?
Clarissa.
The character's name?
Clarissa's
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So what I really like about her is there's a few things. A, she's got a really good look to her, right? Like, she's got a distinct style, and also the performance and her place in the story is very interesting, right? Because it broadens the world, right? This means that they establish some kind of lore. There is a ghost frequency that you can channel through your perception of sight or sound, right? That's a really cool idea in my books, right? The problem is that as soon as that idea is introduced, all she does is have sex with him, then get killed, right? And that itself feels like a massive cheat, because it feels like, oh, here's this world that we're, opened up to, and then it's gone just like that, right? And it's like, okay, maybe this is where this could have worked as a feature film rather than an anthology, right? But then, another element I don't like about her character is that creepy guy in the window is her uncle, right? And it's like, I feel like that's just like from a writer's standpoint, right? Like Simon Barrett, you didn't need to go there. You didn't need to make that her uncle. And I feel like that's like a step further where it's like a ghost watching them is already pretty creepy. And I feel like that's just putting a hat on a hat in a way that just doesn't really like it already feels weird that we're doing that.
That doesn't actually dissect. I think that
Yeah.
feels like the most like a holdover from how the first one was written, where like you'll bring up this provocative thing that intimates something pretty bad, but doesn't really do anything with it, and it does feel disposable, which isn't that great.
Because if you're gonna allude to her being a victim of incest by her ghost uncle, like there needs to be more than just what we see from her. She's gonna fuck Adam Wingard and then die. like if we can't just throw that idea in there and then be like, all right, bye.
See ya. I wanted to get to something that Elvis, you had said. You had brought up the movie 13 Ghosts, and I think that's a great comparison because what I love about this short is how distinct all of the ghosts are. That's something that 13 Ghosts does really well too. And I just like that there's like a weird guy in a suit. You got like the little girl, right? And then like the uncle, while I don't like his backstory, just having a big like, fat guy, good. Right? With like the blood coming down to exactly, Doug. You're right. I really love the way the ghosts are both designed as well as utilized.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like you said, it just gives it this funhouse ride feel. Like that's the greatest joy of these kind of segments when they can immerse us in it like that. Like I wonder if they'll ever try. I guess this would require me to like invest in actual VR equipment, but like let's do a VHS one year where it's just a VR experience. Like let me just like be the
VHSR. VRHS.
Oh, this one I also love that. Like other like, are any of these segments on VHS in this one? Like, because our first one is they're just all on the laptop, right?
Well, I mean, I think is a Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
The quality on that one
that's a GoPro.
More, it's a GoPro. When we see the camera, like
right,
on the dog,
it's on the dog. Yeah, so I guess not. They're all like
there's two GoPro segments because there's also the ride in the park, right? But that also switches between things, and then you have the documentary film crew, and I would just expect for them to be using like a regular card, right? So
exactly.
This is a persistent problem.
Yeah.
This is a persistent problem.
This franchise is bullshit. Liars.
These are VHS. Bad title. They should call it something different.
They should have called it .mp. No, .mkv. So we know it hasn't been converted yet. We're like, oh shit!
It's raw. It's a raw footage, man.
I'm just glad it wasn't a wave. Those are the worst.
All right.
That's the podcast version.
I mean, that would be cool, right? Okay, and my theory about like everything, these are of such consistent quality. I'm kind of struggling. Like, okay, it's good, and like, but like, what else can we mine from it?
I can say, I really like the way this is captured and the way that it's presented to us. Even though we just dogged on the VHS thing, right? The idea of an eye implant, right? Amateur night, right? Glasses, the same thing, right? First person view,
That's
right?
True, yeah.
But I think that this
Black
is even...
Mirror was good. Is positing.
What if it was okay to create a surveillance state?
They should have ghosts in Black Mirror.
Well, there's like there are
Charlie
I mean,
Brooker.
Red Mirror exists, and so that's good. I like those episodes.
I've never finished the seasons where they have the Red Mirror. I haven't seen
those.
Are
so bad. Fun. Oh, Red Mirror is so good, man.
I like the idea of it because I want them to just be like, "Fuck it, we're in Twilight Zone. We'll do whatever."
Yeah, that's what I like about it because actually, like, after like 4 seasons of like, oh my god, technology is gonna outpace our sensitivities and our reason. Like,
what
okay, cool. Let's do werewolves. Let's do demons. Let's do wishes. Let's do genies. Let's do it all, man. I love it. I love those episodes.
I just like I think the Zazie Beetz one is like one of the worst Black Mirror episodes of all time.
No man, not when like 80% of that show exists. That's actually I would put that in my top 10, top 5. It's so good.
Elvis, that's why I love talking to you.
All the Red Mirror ones, because they're not like boring. Oh my God, the AI loves me too much. Like, come on. Like, come on. I have like 80% of
What
that
if you
show. I
had to
annoy.
subscribe to healthcare?
Oh my God, it's like which of the 5 episodes is that about? Anyway,
I'm just a San Junipero truther. That's just all I'll say on that.
Oh, that's a great
but
episode. Yeah,
Right?
I just wish it was like 15 minutes longer. That's why
I can get down with that.
I
Yeah.
prefer, because like it brings up a big point and it's kind of just doesn't really discuss it and just reels it back and like I wish there was more about that. I mean, I don't mind where it ends up, but like she does bring up a great existential point that it just gives this hand wave at the end. I feel like that's cheating me, the viewer, out of like something meaty.
Well, I think they just want you to go watch the Amazon series that lasted a couple seasons about a digital afterlife. They're like, well, they'll answer it in that.
That was pretty good though. That was
I
pretty
didn't.
good.
I never watched it. Was it good?
I liked it. Robbie ML is the ML that can act. Is what I'm gonna say.
Okay, I never watched
He's
Arrow.
He can't act. That guy cannot act. That show would have been so much better if Robbie ML was Green Arrow. That's what I'm gonna say. He's a good actor. All right. Anything
wanna
else
get to
about
Adam-
this one?
I wanted to get back to Adam Wingard's eye because I really like what they're doing with that, right? I like the fact that he has to cut his eye out to try to stop the ghost, right? And the fact
it
it's
does
too
nothing.
late. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great effect, and I love the way he's like, I love that he cuts his eye out and then he holds the eye back up to himself like that. It just doesn't make any sense, but it's just a great like, oh, here we are. This is just like a cheesy fuck you. We're watching
Great
a horror
visual
movie
gag.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, but my thing is that's actually even more horrifying because can anything, once you've gotten too deep, can anything pull it back? Does it ever reset? Like, because the longer you pay attention to them, the more they can hurt you. But like, can it, like, even if they can hurt you like a little bit, can it ever go back to nothing? That's
Well,
what's
and
horrifying to me.
what's their range? Like, because if her uncle's following her, then they're just tethered to you personally, right? So do you just have to like keep moving at all times?
I think that even brings up a great question too, where it's like, who are those 2 other people that he's seeing, right? That are those people that are from his past that he just never says, right? And if so, right, that's pretty good world building because like it never brings attention to it. We just are discovering that through this conversation right now, right? That's why I think Simon Barrett's a pretty dang good writer, and Adam Wingard as a director, he's able to capture it in a way that keeps those questions rolling while the experience itself is just so well worth taking.
100% agreed. But let's see here. Any other notes about this one before we move ahead?
It's fun. I
No.
would play a game with that concept of like,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
got a ghost eye.
it got me in the mood for the eye and pulse. Very, very Korean horror-ish, I would say.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
Asian horror. So I dug it. So Doug, you're up next for Ryan the Park, directed by Eduardo Sanchez and Greg Hale, written by Jamie Nash. Let us know what this one's about.
Yeah, this is a biker with his GoPro camera. This is taking me back to when my friend would always do streams of him biking. He wouldn't go on. He'd be out on the roads, like not through like trails through woods, but I'd be like, oh man, what if while he was doing that, fucking zombie apocalypse started? Because we don't see it like the full scale of it. We're just seeing like this isolated like patch of woods in the surrounding area, but that seems to be the implication of, like there's this girl who's like been attacked and then she just starts vomiting like this black bile. It's so gross and gnarly. And then we see the other zombies coming from the woods. He gets bit and turned, and then as soon as I realized that's where we're going, I'm like, okay, that's cool that we're gonna get like some POV zombie action and just follow through on that. And then but then we cut to other sources too as they like stumble upon like some kind of, I don't know, it's like a family reunion, some kind of family outing at the park, and yeah, just all hell's breaking loose. It's fun. It's not like super deep or anything. It's just a neat idea that I feel like is solidly executed. If it the only real thing that you can hold against it is that there's kind of a better use of zombies like later in this another show.
Yeah.
So like
Very
that's
zombie focused. This one.
yeah,
That's very
yeah.
true.
Which is there's nothing wrong with there being like some kind of recurring theming, but then you can run into the issue of like I would much rather have this kind of repetitiveness than rapey repetitiveness from the first VHS. So like I'll take the reanimating corpse stuff any day, but yeah, like you kind of have to be mindful of that, I guess, or maybe like just change the order that it comes in or something, so like it to keep it more spaced out.
Elvis, did you want to go next, or do you want me to jump in?
Well, actually, I did want to bring up one thing. So I agree mostly with Doug. This is like a fine one. I think it's a little bit too slight. I would like to have seen more escalation because it does go from like very small incident to like a larger incident and then just kind of ends there. I mean, I'm not sure, like, it would have been more interesting to see it progress, but I would like to see a lot more, craziness, a lot more of an escalation, in terms of chaos. But I did want to bring up one thing. This is one thing that stood out to me. Okay, so it was co-directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who
Hell yeah.
well known, very well known
Blair Witch Project.
for Blair Witch Project, but also for 2014 Exists. Okay, the
Bigfoot.
the Bigfoot found footage movie that went a little bit viral last year, and I
have not
watched
seen that
because of it,
one.
and it was okay. I liked it a lot.
Is it?
It was fine.
It's
I mean,
fine.
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not as immersive as the Rich Product. It is very much a standard for the era fan footage horror movie. We're like, okay, we're just gonna go with it. It doesn't
Better or
really.
worse than Willow Creek in terms of Bigfoot movies?
I couldn't even finish Willow Creek, so I'm gonna say
Really?
this.
Oh, okay.
I-
I mean, Willow
I'm gonna
Creek's
say,
not even
I'm,
that long.
Right. Anyway, so my main point is, so that one, and this is the part that went viral. In Exists, there's this big sequence, right, where a guy has a GoPro on a bike, is racing through the forest while the Bigfoot is chasing after him, right? And I feel like the part with the GoPro in this kind of felt like maybe a little bit like a test run for how to shoot that for a movie like that. Like that, I can see where that might escalate or that might be a good use for something like that. So other than that, it means fine. I mean, standard zombie stuff. Zombies I think are interesting and very fun villains, but this doesn't really have that much runway to do anything really interesting with them. It's like I think it would be like if it was like a short story, it'd be like 3 pages. It's fine.
There's not like a take on it other than we get to see like momentarily some of the mundanity of it, of like when they're
Yeah.
like like eating the boyfriend of the when the do-gooder couple comes upon him after he's been bitten, and then she gets turned, and then they're eating him, and then like kind of like that those moments of awkwardness before him coming back, like lingering in that, like
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if they didn't want to lean into that, because then that would have made it like more of a comedy, which I would have been fine with, like, because like if you have more like funny beats like that where it's like kind of awkward, of like, oh, we were just eating you, now you're here.
Well, I just wanted to build off of what you guys have said so far, right? Because as I've said, I've seen this movie like so many times. Like I said, a dozen. Who knows if that's accurate, right? Maybe more, maybe less, right? But when it comes to like this segment in particular, right? I've always liked all of the other segments more, but on this reviewing, I feel like my a reappreciation for it has gone way up, right? And I think that what you guys are getting at is exactly right. But I think one thing that I think is missing from this conversation is how we're watching like the life of a zombie in real time, right? And I like how much it stews in that, right? I think that even though the premise is pretty like bare bones, it's like just here it is, right? I really like the question of how much is of a zombie is still a human, right? And we saw a lot of that in 28 years later this year, right? And I don't think that this film barely like ever gets close to the heights of that movie. But I do think that the
Danny
moments it
Boyle
does take
called out fraud
No,
alert.
no, 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 no. I said the opposite. I said the other.
I'm teasing. Yeah.
I love you, Danny boy. I love you. Come on the pod, you know. But what I'm trying to get at here is I really like how it takes its time. Like this time around, I really appreciated the little beats, right? And I found that it was far more considerate than I had given it credit for. And also, I think that just speaking to the Eduardo Sanchez of it all, right? I feel like those are the best parts of the Blair Witch Project, right? Like I literally think the best parts of it is like you're seeing them just in the woods lost yelling somebody's name. And the reason that works is because like what is a found footage film but the capturing of an event, right? And in the capturing of the Blair Witch Project, I don't feel like they're cheating there. In this short film, I don't think that they're cheating here. I think that Exist does kind of cheat a bit, right?
Yeah, no, it feels more filmic, which is, I think,
Exactly.
a very big drawback for that one. I did like it, but it's like, it feels like it doesn't feel immersive. And you're right, that those moments draw you in to those kinds of premises.
And I really love, like, you know, you're getting these scenes like you were saying, Doug, about how this is like a get together, right? I love that, like, you see them, the main guy attacking them, but then like when he gets stabbed with the fork in his eye, he's looking at his reflection in the window and he stops beating and going after them, right? Like it's these momentary glimpses of humanity that shine through the zombie spell that they're in, right? I think that those little moments really tipped this over for me, and now I really appreciated the short.
That's a good point, because I did clock those moments, and that sometimes, uh even if other zombie things have moments similar to that, we never linger there, and that's always been a compelling part of it to me, of like, yeah, well, they were people, or are they still, like how much of them is in there, and like we said, like it's not like this is like coming away with like a deep take on that, but it is at least gesture, in the short time that it has, it is, it's broadly gesturing at it.
This could have been a movie,
Yeah,
is
I know.
what I'd say.
I totally agree, because I think, like, and that's what I mean. Like, not only that it could have gone or been escalated, but also just give more time to like breathe into it, because I think that just by truncating those two halves, it does feel a bit, depending on what you're into, either front ended or back ended. Like, so I feel like, yeah, a bigger, longer, framework to work with would have been great for this. Maybe in violent nature, except not bad.
Yeah, like we keep
Oh,
going to
fighting
like
words.
different sources of like, okay, first it was a family get together, and then it starts spilling out of the woods into like the city. So there's like people recording things in the city that they're capturing it on. Like we don't have to stay, like we could keep going from like infected person to infected, depending on like how long like our initial zombie lasts, like, and then because it doesn't have to be his POV the whole time.
But I do appreciate that this, because it's a short, right? We're able to just like sit with them in the momentary beat to beat, right? And I agree with you that in the future film version of this, I imagine there would be more jumping around, right? But I just like the fact that you get these moments where it's like they wake up again, right? And then they're like, what am I? Right? And then they
I'm
like take a
hungry.
bite. Yeah, I guess I'm hungry. I'm gonna take a bite of my arm, right? Oh, that's gross. Oh, what's that over there? A corpse. I'm gonna go eat that, right? It's these like moment to moment things. Like, even though it sounds basic as I'm saying it, right? I think that just like the conceptualization of like, okay, let's like actually imagine what the steps of a zombie change is, right? And it doesn't feel like it ever cheats. So that's why I really appreciate this segment.
Yeah, solidly executed. I would uh watch a full length thing, or like I said before, VR experience. Let's do it.
Yeah, man.
That would be great.
Put yourself in the view of a zombie. I'd love that. All right. So, any other thoughts before we move on to the next?
No, that's a pretty straightforward segment, honestly.
All right, I'm gonna need some help, because I never actually said this guy's name aloud before. All right. So, Safe Haven, directed by. Can someone say it? I don't want to say it and mess it up.
Ooh, you're putting us on the
Timo.
spot. I just call him Timo.
Yeah, by
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna sound it out. I'm gonna try. Okay.
So
We've
brave.
got somebody in the chat, right? They can tell us if we did it right or wrong, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I just had it here. 1 second. Timo Tijanto.
I'm gonna
That
say
sounds right.
that sounds okay and not disrespectful. So we're gonna go with that. All right. And co-directed by Gareth Evans.
That'd be funny
Writ-
if he's the one we butcher Gareth Evans. Dude.
It's
Like, no,
Evans.
it's
Some
Evans.
fuck.
Or, and written by them. And this one, much like I'm coming from, Tony's perspective here, much like his take on a ride in the park, this is one that I walked away with a better, respect for. Okay, because when I first
Hell
watched this
yeah.
one, I'm like, I was bored. I'm like, I feel like it's just a lot of, cliches, and it is. I'm not gonna say that it's not full of cliches. I've seen everything in this other times, other ways.
Oh,
It does,
100%.
it
Yeah,
does,
it's
it does follow strictly formula, but I think I just love especially after rewatching SiREN and the first movie, the first VHS. Like this is just class act filmmaking. Like
yeah.
for what it has to do, everything is pulled off like immaculately. It feels very lived in. It doesn't feel like too false. Obviously, it's a big supernatural thing, but I think it's perfect. So let me just describe this. Let me just describe it. Let's
Yeah.
describe the story here. It's about a documentary crew who is who's gotten access to Paradise Gates, which is a cult in Indonesia, to film a documentary, an expose documentary, and the cult's leader is oddly acquiescing to that. Like he's maybe a little bit reluctant at first, but then like, you know what, this seems like a good idea. He's like really into it. And basically it turns out that he's using the documentary crew as a way to get like his final testimony and testament about his cult out there before he all hell breaks loose. Like this is it, go time. We've got our message out there. I'll record it somewhere, archived. So yeah, they just all the yeah, hell breaks loose. I don't know, man. It goes crazy. I don't want to spoil it, but I guess we're already in spoiler territory. Everyone starts killing themselves, attacking them. Rituals. People explode. Baffle May, just burst out of a woman's stomach. It's crazy. I love it. I love this one.
It's a baby Baphomet.
It's baby of me. Yeah, he can teach you to be good. You don't know. This could be a happy
Right,
ending.
yeah, that's actually a positive. That's why he's laughing at the end. He's like, I'm gonna
I
raise
could
him
teach him to be good.
I got the fact he says Papa, by the way, like he could have said Dad, he could have said Daddy, right? But the use of the word Papa,
specific and unnerving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so cute. It's very cute.
Mhm.
He could love him. Can't he love him? Can't he love his son?
He looks cute. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I can raise my demon baby son.
you can always
So-
get a new car.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't seem like the demon cared about the zombies that much, so you probably get him to kill the zombies.
He was just like swinging him. I love that. I always love that depiction of like a cult or like someone who's like so devoted to like some kind of entity, and then the thing once it's summoned is like he doesn't give two shits about you.
could not care less.
It's like, I
Do
don't
we
know
have the
you.
name of the actor who plays the cult leader?
It's probably here on the Wikipedia page. Let me see here. Let me scroll
I'm on the
down.
IMDb as well, so let's see who gets it first.
Ippy Kusnandar.
What
He
a
was really good.
fantastic
So
performance!
good. He
Right?
grabs you in. I don't think this works without him because he
Yep.
his emotional switches. You can see the clock working through his head. His facial dynamics are perfect for this. So good.
Mhm.
When he starts
Eh,
singing, like I love
Oh
that.
my god,
Yeah.
he is just like we're introduced to him like drinking a glass of milk, and it's in this like fucking weird glass that's like it kind of like starts narrow and then goes up wide, right? And he's got his hands caressing the sides of it, right? And just every little decision he makes as an actor, how much of it is directed, how much of it is his own, I don't care. I love everything that he's doing on screen. And honestly, I have to say this is going to be the best VHS short of all films, I would say, right? In my books, right? And then
Okay,
B,
yeah, because this
I,
is a high water mark. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's hard to say, right? But then also
in,
just I
in
wanted to
terms
go
of
I wanted
filming,
to go a bit further and just say
okay,
this is like one of my favorite horror shorts. I just want to say that.
oh,
Go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
no, perfect. And I think in terms of filmmaking, just in terms of filmmaking, it is so classy, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it really draws you in. There's no false movements there. Everything feels like erratic and chaotic, but very, very purposeful. I love it. But I'm gonna put it number three. Okay, it's the best one of this. It's the best one of
Whoa.
this movie. I love the ideas of the other ones more. I love
Sure.
I get
the
what you're
tones
saying
of the
that
other ones more.
it's not breaking the mold in terms of like we've seen like these kind of cult like demon summoning stories or like forced
Yeah,
pregnancies. All it's using a lot of tropes, but it's just deploying them in ways that it's like using the fact that you're expecting or familiar with these things in like a stomach churning way where you're like,
yeah.
oh please, like when he keeps going to the back and like behind the curtain where you're like, please, oh, I know it's gonna be back there, right? And then it
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
It's
it's expressive. I think it's very, very skillfully constructed. But
Absolutely.
I just love, I just it's a very balanced. At least the top three, top three, like I don't know if anything to break into them. I really doubt it. I really doubt moving forward. I think my top three right now are safe. Okay, and this is
Mm.
definitely it in it.
is this the first one of your top three we've seen?
Yeah, no, my top three. No, my first is still the sick thing to have Emily.
Whoa.
I just love that. I just love the
It's a
idea.
solid.
I love.
It's a cool idea.
I
I mean, maybe
I love
I'm
I
biased
love
because
the I
I've
love
done
the
a short
storyline.
about alien abduction stuff and
I love the
yeah.
storyline of it. I love like the themes in there. I love the performance. I think like yeah, I would say Safe Haven is a better short like in terms of how it's filmed, the acting, and the actors, the performances. All those come together are much stronger in Safe Haven. But like Doug is right. I mean, I that the exact storyline itself, I'm just not I'm not that invested in. Which is why I didn't like it before. Now I do appreciate it more now, but the story is still weak for me. And I do love the horror one because if it's gonna get weak story, I do love like the front face, like very, 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 very authentic feel and detail of the Halloween one in the first one.
Mhm.
So those are my top three. You know,
Okay.
and it's
So
and four is like is for right now. It's phase one clinical trials, and even though that one I think we all like that one, it's big gap, big
Mm.
divide for me.
All I'll say is Elvis is a Joe Swanberg defender. Shake my head, but
I mean, that
but
Emily short is begging for a remake. I'm not saying Joe
yeah.
Swanberg should do that, or as a feature, like because that's
I would watch a feature of that.
Same.
it's a concept where there's a lot there that you can dig into.
But also, I wanted to bring up one thing about that. Okay, and we should have talked about it here, but I just realized it. But the original title, "The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger," right? But it's implied that the alien, experiments haven't happened until like recently, right? So the
Mm.
sick thing that happened is her meeting that guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
100%. You're right.
that's love. I love that. I love that short. I really do. But this one's great. I think this is gonna be the best moving forward. I don't think
Yeah.
anything's gonna top this. I mean, I'll be wrong. I haven't seen the third one. Maybe that one's like shockingly good.
I want to crack into this one more, right?
Okay,
Because
go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like so what I love about this is just like every beat works,
The
every
devil's in the
single one.
details.
Exactly, right? And it's like not just in the setup, not just in like the way it's performed, but it's like the way things escalate, the way that like there are so many different elements. We've talked about how there's zombies in all of these, right? And there's zombies in this, right? There's a cult. There's like a demon that's birthed out of a person, right? There's so many different things in this short, and I don't think at every point does it feel overstuffed. Despite like if I were to sit down and chart out all of the things that are in this, I would probably pull out all of the remaining lefts of my hair, So for the thing for me, like when I'm thinking about the short, it's just like it feels like they never said no to any idea, but then they found ways to make sure that every single idea worked. And it's just amazing. And I feel really bad for Ty West, ironically, because Ty West put out The Sacrament the same year as this, right? And The
Mm.
Sacrament is a good movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. And it's actually more true to what that event would be. But the fact that this is just like, we're going to go balls to the walls. We're going to put every single idea we had in here, and it's just gory. It's otherworldly. It's ethereal. I like all of that stuff
You even
when
get
it's in
action
that
set
jambalaya.
pieces, like when they're fighting with the shotgun and stuff.
It's great. And then when they're fighting with a shotgun, there are like gags where it's like you see people like react to like no ammo, or you react to like when they're outnumbered. Or I love the part when you've got the main documentarian up against the wall with the guy who's got the shotgun, and he's like, "Don't worry, wait your turn." Right? Like there are so many moments like that throughout this whole short, and I like every single time it happens, I'm like, "Oh, this is catnip. This is my nitrous."
I know what you give me a great point, Tony, about how the way it escalates and it just kind of builds and builds. I felt the same way about the interpersonal stuff, which I thought was kind of like trite when I first watched this a couple years ago. But now I'm like, I'm actually really invested because it starts professional and then drama, 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 switch, more drama, horrible tragedy. I just loved it. It was so good.
And because you have those interpersonal dynamics established, like when shit hits the fan, I feel like, more so than these other segments, there is some pathos to like that dynamic when he's like, yeah, no, go find Lena before he gets executed, because it's like, despite this betrayal, like you cheated on me with, or cheated with my fiance, it's like she needs to be saved, like regardless of whose child that is. I mean, none of them are thinking there's a demon baby coming out of her at that moment, but they still want to save her. So there's something touching about that.
That's an excellent point, Doug. I love that, like in a lesser VHS short, right? Like imagine if this happened in VHS 1, right? You would have had like those two go off somewhere with the camera, and they'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, come on. Like, that's my girl, right? And there would be like a fight.
Mature.
Exactly.
And then we would cut to the part of it taped over where they fucked on camera for some reason.
There would be like something where like they do a little bit slut shaming things, like, oh man, we gotta leave her behind, man. Something like that.
Totally.
Yeah, that bitch.
Let's do it. Let's write this one, okay? It's called
Mutant
VHS
Toes.
1.5.
Written by James Gunn.
VHS 1.5 and put it in that one.
Well, one thing that I really like about this short is that like with all of these different things, all the characters seem so specific, right? And then also the commentary on organized religion, the way that it is, it feels like a better Red State, right? Like Red State by Kevin Smith, right? Like this is everything he was trying to do.
Red State while I was watching it, yeah.
Red State's pretty cool too, though.
I do like
great
Red
movie.
State. I mean,
Red State rocks.
I think we're all.
This is a pro Red State podcast.
His last good movie.
I'm with you there.
I don't care what the 4:30 movie said. Okay, this is the last good one.
I enjoyed the 4:30 movie, but I can sign off on that too. I'm not saying I'm never gonna say the 4:30 movie is like good.
I tried watching it with some of my friends, and we were like, I felt embarrassed. We gotta turn this off.
hey, Doug, have you seen Joe Dante's Matinee?
No.
That rocks.
So Doug, watch that movie, and then you will never call the 4:30 movie a good movie again.
I never said it was good.
No. I'm not trying to put those words in your mouth. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
How dare you?
I heard him say it. I heard Goody Doug talk about it with the devil in the back. All right. So, but yeah, fantastic short.
Going back to what you said about like how, because it's not like stopping and being like, this is our definitive statement on organized religion, but like it's all like presented in the world naturally, like when there's the whole thing of like, I have to ask because it's going to be a point of controversy of like your relation to the young girls here in the thing, and then the way we talked about the performance of the father, where he's just like, yeah, so what's your point, because there's like a very besides all the demonic stuff, that's probably like the most unnerving part is when they come across that one girl, she's like, "Oh, I'm not a girl anymore. Father took," and then they like cut her off mid sentence. They're like, like go to class or something. Like whatever she was about to say.
So
Like
fucked up.
it's like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, very fun ideas, fun execution, very strong character writing for what it is, and like I do end up really rooting for everyone there. They feel very real. They don't feel cartoony or over the top, and it's a class act short. It's a class act
And
short.
I think he's gonna do all right as a father. Single father. It's not easy,
I
but
know that let's do a sequel where it's like Harry and the Hendersons, but it's like this guy and his giant, giant demon baby.
Legendary Harry and the Hendersons pull.
I mean, let's
Hell
Leave
let's
me
get
alone,
let-
you big ape.
let's get Timo on the line. He'll do it. Okay.
Hey, Nobody 2 was a pretty great movie.
Yeah.
I love the way everybody is dressed in this movie. I love the location of it. I love that when things go to shit, it really goes to shit, right? Like everything in this just works. And we said with other shorts, we're like, hey, we could watch this as a full movie, right? This is like the perfect short film,
Yeah, it's
really, in
structurally
like what you
fantastic.
want.
I don't feel like I'm
Exactly.
missing anything. Like you
Nah.
gave it all to
No.
me. You didn't hold back at all. Like it's yeah, it's perfect in that way where
Like
it's
like
like
like you said, Tony. It's like what you said. It's like the capturing of an event, and this is just about them fulfilling this. So we get that from the beginning. It's their testimony. That's the entire reason the cult leader leads them into it, because he's like, okay, let's get this out on tape. I want he's
Mhm.
there. It's his victory lap, which is the
Yeah.
really horrific thing about it. He's like, which is why he gets annoyed when he like he's like going through his whole rant, and then he gets cut off, like there's a mic issue or something. Like it's really gets really annoyed and really pissed. And like, I love that.
yeah, and
You
more so than the other ones, it feels like this is something like someone's recovered something where we weren't meant to have watched. Like
totally.
this is like no one should have seen this, and now we're seeing like some kind of forbidden knowledge.
I feel like all of the other short films, they make much ado about the way they're captured, right? Like they're like, oh, we put a camera in a guy's head and we're watching now as he lives through life, right? And like even though I'm saying that in a sarcastic tone, I appreciate that short, right? But it's like there's something very cheesy about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this, it's like there are all of these different methods in which the event is being recorded, including even cameras that belong to the cult, right? Like there's a
Yeah, the
part where
compound has security cameras.
they have security cameras, and then there's also like the woman who is like talking to Lena as she gets taken away is holding a camcorder, and like there's this constant like even though this is a found footage film and we're talking about, and oftentimes they have to find excuses for these things, right? Every time there's a cut, you don't think about where you're cutting to. When the camera cuts back to where it is, you already know which angle it is. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
this is just like very strong visual language at every and going back to what we were just saying about the person holding that camcorder, right? The reason that that works is because you've got Lena holding her camera, walking out of the classroom. She sees the other person holding the camera. She puts her camera down, right? And then when we cut back to the cult leader as she's looking at her, Lena is not holding a camera in her face, right? How many found footage horror films have we seen collectively where it's like two different people holding cameras talking to each other, right? It just doesn't make any sense in that way, right?
Yeah, they're just gonna film each other as they talk.
Yeah, I know.
Or
It's
it's
very
like yeah.
streamlined. It understands, how to pace the editing of it, which I think holds other ones back. Because
Mhm.
it'll be like you're like, oh, we need a cut here, frazzle. We need a jump here, frazzle. Like it gets a little bit repetitive, and this felt very smooth watch, smooth watch.
You know who the best character is? The cameraman. The guy who has to like sit and fill time with the cult leader before all that shit goes down.
Yeah.
He's such a chill guy. I love him.
He starts asking him questions.
How would they think any? I mean, you wouldn't know that there's going to be like a demon resurrection ritual going on, but there's no way you think this is a good idea.
Like,
Why
bring
would
some
you?
heat, pack something. I'm
Yeah,
saying.
bring at least like a couple big guys who are strapped.
I feel like with that's actually like something that's baked into the story too, right? Because they don't see this cult as a threat, right? They just see this as another documentary, right? And the only reason they're trying to make this documentary is because for whatever reason these guys are controversial in the news, right? The reason I bring up Westboro, I'm getting ahead of myself. The reason I bring up Red State is because it was commenting on the Westboro Baptist Church. I believe that was the church that Kevin Smith was inspired by.
Yeah.
And with this, it's kind of taking that same framework where it's like these people are established as freaks within Taiwanese society, right? So them making this documentary is almost like them like making a documentary about jokes, right? And it's like, what if the jokes were right? And I just love that conceit. That's just what makes this works for me, you know?
Yeah. It's this is the strongest one. Like, I mean, of what I've seen so far. I mean, we'll see as we go on, but this is a high benchmark. So
High benchmark, high watermark.
tough to beat.
So,
Yeah.
any other thoughts before we move on to the next?
I'm done shouting.
All right. So, actually, you're not, because it's your turn again for the final segment of this one. The Slumber Party Alien Abduction, directed by Jason Eisner and written by John Davies and Jason Eisner again. So let's know what this one's about.
Was that for me or Doug?
Your turn again, Tony.
Okay, you got it. So I just want to start this by saying Jason Eisner is the man. Okay. So anyways, this segment is really stupid. It's really crass. It's really garish often, right? But I think that what it does is it captures like a juvenile approach to existence really well. I'm getting ahead of myself, but to give you the understanding of what this short is, essentially you've got like a group of 12-year-old boys, maybe 14-year-old boys who are like still in adolescence, right? Who are just kind of fucking around. This is a very affluent house, right? And the parents are going away for the weekend. The boys are having a slumber party, right? And the older sister has brought over her boyfriend, and the boyfriend's a big killjoy, right? This is the whole setup where it's like, let's go back and forth with one another until all of a sudden aliens arrive. And all of this is pretty, up to that point, fun and games. But once the aliens arrive, there is a real threat there. And the way this is captured, we've got several different angles from people just holding cameras, but predominantly the story is told from the perspective of a GoPro attached to a dog. And what I really admire about this segment is that while it's very juvenile, while it has places where I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have gone to that place, when it gets brutal, it gets so brutal, and it doesn't pull its punches in a way that doesn't feel cheap. It's brutal in a way that feels earned. And it's a segment that feels very kinetic and puts you on your toes in ways that you wouldn't expect. Those are my general thoughts.
100% agreed. And this is probably my second favorite. It would be my second favorite of this one, only because it does the thing I liked and does the thing that I mentioned before regarding Ryan in the Park and the Halloween one, where it feels really authentic. I love when these, even though it's a GoPro, I love when these feel like they could be home videos, which is what kind of like I think the whole VHS gimmick should be. You're feeling, like most of the time you should be watching something that feels like someone was recording, because they had the equipment, they wanted to just start shooting, and things happen, and so I love this one because for the most part, like 80% of it is just some kids having fun on some vacation, and then it just kind of drops the big bomb of the aliens into it, and it just goes to crap. And I feel like that works for me. I don't really need to see the threat the entire way through. I just need to buy that this is something that people would be recording, even casually. and that's what makes it, I think, really makes it work for me. I buy this as like a home video that then something really, really bad happened in.
Yeah, you spend the time setting the table, and like you said, like, yeah, is it juvenile what they're doing? But yeah, they're kid, like like I lean towards the younger interpretation of like they're like closer to 10, like 12 is like maybe the
Yeah.
oldest one. Like they're very very young, and so that all tracks that like how juvenile they're being with it. And the aliens themselves, I like the design of it. Like they're kind of freaky. The only thing that I would say is like why I agree that it earns like the brutality of like like that final image of like the dog like whimpering, like that's so unnerving. But like the chase itself starts to get a little repetitive for me, where like I kind of am not as scared by the, even if like they look freaky, like when they're kind of just like running through whatever, some like hiding in the brush near the house or something, or and you see the aliens like walking around. It I don't know, I'm just like not as tense there until we like circle back around at the very end, like. But yeah, I don't know what would have fixed that for me. Maybe just, yeah, I don't really have like a solve for that. I that was just my experience of it.
I think you're fair to say that like the once the premise kind of reveals itself, right? It doesn't have much to nowhere to go really, right? Like it doesn't really have a finite endpoint beyond that final shot, which
It's
is a
like,
great
yeah,
final shot.
right. It's just like we just need to run from these aliens until we can get to that shot.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think that there are some great moments. Right. One of my favorite moments in the whole short, which maybe is going against you a bit, Doug, but I do agree with your overall, critique of it. I really love the moment when they get out of the water and then they run to the woods, and then there's the police lights, right? And then it turns out that the aliens were just mimicking that, right? I really love that, and I really
Oh,
like.
I love that, because I didn't even consider that when that happened. I thought they had just like, they're so all powerful that they could just like kind of like just like snap like cops had arrived, and they just like were fucking like, okay, we'll warp you out of here, like whatever, cops are gone. But like I think what you said is what happened. But I like that that didn't even occur to me. I was just like, they're untouchable, the aliens.
Well, that's also true, right? And one thing to go off of what you were saying is that it's I like the design of the aliens themselves. They're just the signs aliens, right? But
Yeah,
for
no,
whatever reason,
signs came up. Signs aliens with bigger hands.
yeah, you know what they say: bigger hands.
Bigger tube to shoot poison into which Culkin? Not
Kieran,
Kieran. No,
not
the
Kieran.
other
Bazinga,
one.
No, it
Rory
was
Culkin.
Igby.
bazinga,
Igby Culkin. Yes.
bazinga.
Bazinga Culkin? Is that one of the
Yeah,
Culkins?
I think so.
No, I was just saying bazinga for your joke. I was trying to do like like a rim shot. Like put him.
Okay. I was like,
I'm
oh,
throwing
there's
like a.
more Culkins than I thought. Bazinga, I didn't know about his deal.
I like that you just accepted that. You were just like, yes, Bazinga Culkin, the forgotten brother.
I mean, there's just hard to keep track. You could tell me there's a Bazinga Hemsworth. I'm like, oh, is he gonna replace Henry Cavill in The Witcher?
Hey, I know what I'll say is that'd be funny if this is when The Witcher gets good. Okay.
I wanted to, because I would to be like, oh, is this an upgrade? They got rid of it.
We don't know, but it'd be funny. It'd be funny, like cool.
It would be funny.
To be honest with you, I heard news today about like The Witcher being in like its 4th season, and then I was just like, oh shit, that's still happening? Like people are watching that?
Because that was like 3 years ago when Cavill
Right.
like got fired from it, right? Or like walked away.
Exactly. So with these Netflix shows, man, they take them time.
Yeah, Stranger Things is like they take 10 years between seasons, so their actors are 50 by the time they finish.
I kind of like that, from like a Richard Linklater perspective, perhaps.
It's like
Everything is
Boyhood.
always like a year. Everything's like it's a year though. In universe, I think it's been
Yeah,
less than like
in
3.
universe, if they had done Boyhood, if Stranger Things was Boyhood, I would like it.
If
But
it was like every year there was a season, is that what you're saying?
no, but like they're like the years between were the years between because I think in universe it's only been like 2.5 years.
Yeah, which just makes no fucking sense. Millie Bobby Brown's got a child now. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, they should have actually just Linklater's already at Netflix. Like, let him. He should have just done the rest of Stranger Things.
You know what? Let's just get a Hitman sequel. That's all I want.
Hell yeah.
So I do want to say though, I do agree with Doug where the chase does get repetitive, but I think that most of it is focused on like the actual song party stuff that is, even though it does, could have tightened up a little bit, that it's still short enough to be to me a really nice, punch. Got good punchiness to it. So I still really like that about it. So I would say it's my second favorite of this movie.
So you say above Clinical Trials?
Yeah, I would say because I do love like how mundane like the summer party stuff feels. They're having
Yeah.
jokes, they're going to the pool. I love it. It just lulls you in. Like, I think of found footage movies, I want to be lulled in.
Yeah, we
I
kind
want
of
to
don't
feel like
have
it's
any
mundane.
hangout parts with it's more just like we have the exposition and setup, and then we're just off to the races with ghosts popping in and out. But like, uh, this I agree that I do like some of that mundanity because it makes it more disturbing when the unnatural,
Yeah,
horrible thing starts occurring.
yeah. It makes you feel again. It makes you feel like related to it, and I really enjoy it. That's what again, that's what Blair Witch works for me a lot, and for a lot of people because like 40 minutes of that movie is just them not even in the woods yet. I love it.
Right. I always
Mhm.
forget how long it takes them to get to the actual woods. I'm like, oh right, they're like doing a lot of interviews before that.
Yeah, because it makes you feel authentic. I love it when so that's why I give that one a lot of points for me.
Mm.
It doesn't feel you forget there's a premise, So I like about that.
I wanted to build off of what you're saying there, Elvis, because I do think that the way that this is just like naturally occurring found footage, right? Like that's something I've always been hammering home in terms of all of these segments. I feel like, right? Like is the reality in which this is captured, right? And I feel like this does a really great job in just being like, this is what it is, right? And while there are moments where I'm just like, okay, did we need to have like sexual antics, right? Where like the
I
brothers are trying to go
mean,
after the sister and then the
I
sisters are
don't
killed.
know if you've ever had like a summer party before, but
Well, yeah, right. But like at the same time, I'm just like, did that need to happen? Maybe not, but at the same time, I think that it's still well executed. What one thing I wanted to say as well, just like separate from everything I've just said, is I love the fact that this short opens with the Doom soundtrack. Did you guys catch that?
I did not catch
no, I
that.
didn't
That's
catch that.
cool.
It's the like as soon as like the short opens, it's playing that, and it's also with the garage opening, which I believe is the same as the way Doom opens, where like the door opens, right? It's a really funny reference, and something with Jason Eisner specifically is that he more than like even a Tarantino, I would say, is like he brings his childhood with all of his films and I think Hobo with a Shotgun is a masterpiece. I don't know how you guys feel about that
Oh,
movie.
I love that movie.
Perfect
Yeah.
movie.
The
Yes.
only wait, well, I guess I haven't seen Machete yet. I was gonna say the only good Grindhouse trailer turned actual movie, but
Yeah,
Okay,
no, you're right.
I mean it's the best one. Machete, I think, is the worst one.
I
Machete
the
2 is surprisingly good.
I
okay.
haven't seen that one. I would put off
I'm
by
tick.
Machete.
I've been tickled by the trailers for both machetes, but I'm like, are they actual movies? Could
I,
they be anything?
I feel like I feel like it was doomed when Robert Rodriguez said that he basically put all of his ideas for Machete into the mariachi sequels. Like, okay, why make Machete then? Then if you
Right.
did all the fun stuff you wanted to do already, why make Machete at this point?
My only Machete related thought I want to bring up is that in Machete 2 there is an early on-screen acting performance from Lady Gaga. And
Nice.
when Lady Gaga was like being sold as an actress, I remember there was a lot of pushback from especially people I know like just personally, like friends who were just like, I don't know if Lady Gaga can act. And I'm just like, go watch Machete 2. She's really good in Machete 2. She's in that for like one scene, but it was one of those one scene moments where I'm like, she's kind of one of the best parts of the movie.
There's
I
no
mean,
Joker
okay,
folly I do though, I'm sure.
yeah. Joker 2 is so good. I'm on the troopers about that. It's
I
great.
I I legit yeah, I like that movie.
It's we're all in agreement. That's a good movie. And by the way, fuck Joker 1. I hate Joker 1.
I
Like
don't
Joker
mind
2
it,
is
but
good.
I don't mind it.
That's why Joker 2's good, because it's
Yeah,
like, hey,
Yeah.
that movie, not good.
exactly. I don't mind Joker 1, but Joker 2 is like, actually, let's sit down and talk about some stuff. You know, if so I loved it. I love Joker 2. Anyway,
To get back, yeah, to
yeah.
alien abduction, right? Because I just think that like similar to what we see in a lot of Jason Eisner films, right? Because I feel like this is something that we haven't really talked about with a lot of these shorts, right? And I think I don't want to retroactively go back and do that, but I just want to bring this up here, right? Um, Found footage is just a method in which things are captured, obviously. But I feel like there are still ways in which filmmakers are able to like exert their stylistic and thematic interests. And I touched on this a bit with A Ride in the Park. And I do feel like this film and A Ride in the Park are very similar in those same ways, where it's just like, here is this event, right? But then also they're similar in that sense where it's like, as filmmakers, I can feel the roots of both Eduardo Sanchez and Jason Eisner, where it's like Jason Eisner's films, there's a lot of neon lighting. There's lots of like obsession with things from juvenile age range, as well as nostalgia for like being a 90s kid in Canada, right? Like there's a lot of things that you can see are pulled from Jason Eisner's own filmmaking obsessions in this short. And I always like it when you can see any of these anthology films manage to maintain the authorial voice.
Yeah, no, completely agreed. I mean, I think that it does, I think this and like Safe Haven, I think all of these really do a great job of that. That's what makes this one feel a lot more cohesive because it feels like you're watching something like individual against each other. And first one, as we all say, there was a unfortunate consistency with the segments in the first one that made them feel very samey in very, very unentertaining and unenjoyable ways. This one, I feel like you could probably like if you had to guess who did what based on their filmographies before, you could probably guess it. And I think that's what makes this one pop and stand out a little bit
Yeah,
more distinctly.
that's another plus for this one is that I can more cleanly delineate like okay, that makes sense that this was this filmmaker and where they went from there is I for me a lot cleaner to track here.
I also just feel like the director selection for this film is much stronger than the previous one, right? Like Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett are back here, right? Which is great. I think that they're both great filmmakers, right? But like they come back and they do a better job here, right? But like I like Radio Silence quite a bit. I know that you guys have some kind of complicated feelings about the Scream series that they've done, and as well as Abigail, right? But I feel like even Radio Silence, who were on a really strong playing field with
I mean, I
the
really like
first
their segment.
VHS,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly, right? I feel like I like all of the directors in this one more than I like Radio Silence.
Well, just the fact that we have like an Indonesian like like we have something that's a non-English just thing just expands it in a way uh bigger way than it the
Mm-hmm.
first one does feel besides the sameness of like some of those segments, it's like yeah, we're getting the same kinds of characters, and like no, this one feels like we're getting it doesn't seem like we're just getting like a copy paste of like arc of the same archetypes throughout all these shorts.
I also like you're bringing up the Indonesian point with the safe haven specifically, right? I just like the fact that it's like like the Ray just came out. Timo has been making movies for years, specifically with them, right? I feel like these are filmmakers who are a lot more hungry than the directors from the first movie, right? Like I feel like they're more like they go on to do things, impressive things, right? but I feel like the people in this film have more vision, and that's why I appreciate this overall package more. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely appreciate what the lineup we have here. It's just like, yeah, Safe Haven just sets the bar so fucking high that I'm like, what is Viral's the next one, right?
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
no.
I haven't seen Viral yet,
Yeah.
so who knows? It could shock me.
Hey, yeah,
I'm
I'd love to be the one who has the take that's like against the not like that I intentionally am contrarian, but like if that happens, I do enjoy being the one. I'm like, no, actually, VHS Viral kind of
You're
good.
wrong. You're an idiot.
Yeah, you guys don't get it. This is like
I,
about stuff.
I'm keeping my tongue so bit right now. You know, I can't wait to see how everyone responds to Viral. To be honest with you, and
It's gonna be the rapiest one, yeah. You'd be like, oh, that one was bad.
Also racist for some reason.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. I did not
elements
expect
I didn't even know that could be in the series. You know.
Breaking new ground, so I respect it. Anyway,
yeah. If anything, that's like bold filmmaking. It's actually
uh,
prescient about our current political climate.
it's you know what I like that it says something about where we are. Anyway,
I thought it was really weird when the dog looked right into the camera and said the words Charlie Kirk.
I know. Oh my god.
Yeah, because it was like, okay, you're gonna have a talking dog that's like kind of and breaking the fourth wall too in that way.
It was
Yeah, it was
alien
like,
dog, which is why it was good that it died. It was the mole. Excuse me.
And it was conservative.
Anyway, so any other thoughts before we move on to the main event here?
the main event. The reason we're all here.
It's the reason I'm out here.
The only thing, because like based on your language, you're kind of like rounding off VHS2, and I'm
Yeah.
down for it. Let's crack into SiREN, you know. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I think this is a special movie. Like I know that you guys have been kind of like lukewarm to like
It's
really
fine.
warm on a lot of stuff, you know. But for me, like
I have
I just
appreciation
think
of it.
this. I'm not trying to underplay anybody's appreciation.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Tony.
don't want to. I don't want to say it. Like for me, like when I watch this movie, I'm just like, God damn, this is what I want from an anthology film. It's stupid, it's silly, it's thought provoking in parts. You know, it's all of these different confluences of ideas that are representations of the filmmakers who are a part of it. And with other entries, we will get great lineups of great filmmakers. But at the same time, I feel like this is just like the right time, the right moment. It feels like lightning in the bottle where it's like Gareth Evans just finished Gareth Evans just finished making The Raid, and here he is making the VHS2. Here's Adam Wingard a year before The Guest, and he's made this, right? Jason Eisner, he made Hobo with a Shotgun, but here he is making a short film. And then Eduardo Sanchez, like huge legend within the found footage landscape, being here to make a short horror film for this movie. It's a stew. I used the word jambalaya before. This is a fucking jambalaya, and a fucking great one at that. So I love this movie. I love it, love it, love it. I will watch it a dozen more times.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good time with it.
I had a good time. Like I was shocked in some places. So you know what? The other one I was like, oh man, this is like a trek to get through. And this one like smooth watch. Perfect Halloween fodder.
Yeah, no, the
Halloween
first,
fodder is perfect.
yeah, it definitely puts you in the mood that I want to be in this time of year. Just like the film we're about to talk about. It's
Yeah, right. It's
Doug, go take a long walk off a short pier.
so all right. I think that's our cue to head into it. Okay, and it is SiREN, 2016's a SiREN, directed by Greg Bishop, written by Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski, and based on a story by David Bruckner and Nicholas Tarkovsky. So you know it's gonna be good when none of the other people involved with the original story are involved in this one. You know that's a mark of quality. So this is ostensibly a adaptation of Amateur Night, the succubus short from the first movie, but in my opinion, it could either be read as a sequel or a prequel to it, and I'll explain why my thoughts on that in a bit. But it's about a group of friends who are going to the city for a big bachelor party for the main character, who is this nice boy who only loves his girlfriend and fiance, and he's nice. That's all you need to know about him. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Capital N, capital G, nice guy. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything else. He's a nice guy.
He's
And
fine. He's
it's
good.
and they happen upon the Tales from the Crypt Bordello of Blood but lame club. And he meets a siren. So that's the big thing. It's no longer a succubus. She's a siren. She sings and ensnares people and men. And he's like, he's like, I gotta save her from this life of sexual deviancy. And he breaks her out, and all hell breaks loose. And it turns out that she is actually evil, and so forth, as want to do. And I don't know, this is just so boring, so trite, so badly filmed, which is really weird coming off of VHS. Like, how do you look more fake than like we're gonna put like a crackle filter on everything movie. I should have known this is gonna be what I was in for when I saw the Chiller TV logo at the beginning of this. Like, oh, that's a name I haven't seen in years. Chiller TV, remember that?
Yep.
And so this is just Bordello of Blood, but lamer and weaker. And I should just watch Bordello of Blood because at least that has, Phil Fondacaro in it, and he's great. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? Tony, go ahead, take it away.
So I just want to get the room temperature reading on this. Jail for Greg Bishop?
Jail for anyone that okayed this.
Doug, what do you think? Jail?
President Greg Bishop for president? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he should be tried at The Hague.
This movie fucking sucks, like, big time, like uh I didn't not enjoy my time watching this movie, like I still gleamed enjoyment from watching such a, trash fire, but it's just it's the perfect encapsulation of what a bad horror movie is. And then also it feels like 5 years too late. And I say 5 years because, like, the politics and the way this horror is captured feels even older than Amateur Night, right? For whatever reason,
Yeah, it's
the original
shocking this came out in 2016.
this could have
I
come
thought
out in
it came out
2009.
I thought it was way older than it. I saw like 2016. What?
Trump was president when this came out.
It was insane. This is insane. I cannot believe it.
It's a situation where everything is so shockingly inept, where every plot point is drawn out to the nth degree. It's a short film trying to be a feature film that doesn't understand the appeal of the source material. It's shockingly terrible and also disrespectful to the main actress who this whole short slash feature rests upon. It's a really ugly film, but at the same time, I laughed often because of how inept it was.
It feels so flat. It feels like it was on the Ernest Scared Stupid set in the forest sometimes. Like you don't feel like any environments are real. You feel like that anything that they're saying has anything to do with characterization. Like you don't get a gleam for what the character are. You spend like, I don't know, let's put it in perspective here. The original show is like 5 minutes long. Okay, whatever minutes long or something like that, right? This is like 10 times that long, and everyone feels a lot less developed. And those are like just rapey porn dudes, okay? And they feel like more fleshed out people than the characters here who are nice guys, you know? it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
no, wait, they're the Jonah is nice.
he's a
And
nice.
he is a guy.
He loves his girlfriend. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. He's a good guy.
He loves his girlfriend, and he's loyal to his best friend. His best friend, whose name is Rand.
Which one's best? Is it Mac or Randy? Which one's his best friend? His brother?
Before we get too deep in this conversation, right, I just want to say up front, because I want this to be on record, truthfully, right? Chiller fucking sucks, obviously. You know, you brought that up, Elvis. Like, all of them
It was
suck.
no
right?
fear.net. It was no fear.net. I'll give it that.
Well, I'm about to say, Larry Fessenden's Beneath is a modern horror classic, and it was surprisingly released by Chiller. Beneath is an amazing movie, and out of the 12 films they made, everyone's got to watch it. That's all I got to say about that.
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah, starring Griffin Newman of the Blank Check podcast.
Hell yeah.
That has me excited to see it. It's just, this thing is so baffling to me. Wait, IMDb says it won an award?
It's like probably a con award or something, let's be honest.
It got a 20-minute standing ovation.
It got the most likely to go to jail award, Greg Bishop.
We Are Indie Horror named it one of the top 10 feature films of 2016, and they have if I can't trust them, who can I trust?
Who can we trust?
Anyway, go ahead.
It's just weird that, because Amateur Night wasn't my favorite segment of that movie, but I could visualize what a feature-length version of that is, especially because Hannah Fierman was so compelling. That it was like, yeah, okay, make a movie out of that. And then I immediately start getting deflated when, the Chiller logo, but then also when I'm like, oh, we're not even doing found footage here, which is not inherently a deal breaker,
but it is shocking, because this is the perfect premise for a found footage thing. Guys on the bachelor night,
Yeah, why wouldn't they be sure, you have the brother be like, oh, put the phones away, don't want to get in trouble, but no, dudes are always filming dumb shit when they're getting drunk at the club and stuff. You don't need to justify that. So it seemed it would have been very easy to do that, and I don't know why they thought they had some good cinematography here. I don't know. What's the choice?
Who told them? Who told them that this was good cinematography?
I knew we were in trouble when the first scene is the origin of the monster. I don't need to see this. This is less interesting.
I really don't like okay, as in a vacuum, the idea of some magic guy capturing this creature and then pimping her out could be something, but if the movie's is the movie about that? Because the movie can't seem to decide what it's about.
Is the movie about anything?
The movie's about a killer pimp of demons, which is crazy, because the only thing of anything related to this that
the movie's called
interesting.
SiREN.
I know, the movie's called SiREN, even though she's a succubus, so they decided to make her a siren, which is not as interesting character-wise for the other characters.
Her song doesn't even sound that alluring. I'm not steering my boat into some rocks for that shit.
But also, it becomes about the demon pimp, when Hannah Fierman is the only compelling thing about both Amateur Night and SiREN. She is the reason why anything in either one works. But no, we have to make the demon pimp the main focal point of the movie. He's in the first scene. He's the motivation of the conflict. He's the villain. She is off screen for chunks of the movie, and that is so lame. And I was saying to Tony before, but there's a short story I love from Richard Matheson, which I'm gonna recap more effectively here than I did with Tony, about this telekinetic being that had been basically raped into sex slavery because of this human being that humans have colonized this planet. And so one of the humans, basically made one of the creatures to a sex slave. And then when that guy leaves back to Earth, basically, and gets away scot-free with it, this creature is so damaged and so messed up, that it tries to recreate that relationship using her powers, telekinetic, psychosomatic powers with any man she comes across. And it's like horrifying and is weird and just really tragic in a way. And I feel like that would have been great inspiration for what this should have been. Hannah Fierman in that movie, like when she tries to get that guy the BJ, right? She starts weeping when she sees he's not into it. Like that I think makes that short because she starts sobbing. She's so vulnerable, and it's like you can see like where that might be. Like you want to comfort that kind of the succubus in that way, But in this one, like no, we gotta get this guy who looks like goth Elton John, you know. And it's like, this is so lame because you're not using this actress's strengths or the
Yeah, because as
concept
soon as
strengths.
she's let out, she just starts killing, and I'm like,
She's
well,
a monster,
we've
generic
ju-
monster.
we've just skipped over what makes her specifically interesting. And yeah, I agree that the only thing that has any juice, I mean, she's trying to do her best here with the misuse of her. I like Chase Williamson in John Dies at the
Oh,
End,
he
but
was
this is
great.
this is not the role for him. Like
Miscast.
if you're gonna have him be the guy, you need to have him kind of be someone who's a little full of shit. I
Little
think.
scuzzy.
Yeah, who's like maybe a little too slick. Like maybe his girlfriend, his fiance buys the act of like, oh yeah, my boyfriend's nice, but then you're like, yeah, I don't know, he's like kind of a player.
But that's great because I feel like I thought that's what we were going to be doing before it got even worse. Because I wasn't sold from the beginning of the movie, but that part where like he and his girlfriend are doing role play and he can't get into it because like he can't disrespect her like that, and like I'm doing like the get a load of this guy movement right now, like
Yeah.
come on, jerk off, um, but when he's like he can't respect her like that, like that seemed to me like a red flag. Oh, maybe when he meets, Lily, right? It turns out that, there's a Madonna horror complex thing going where he can't respect his girlfriend like that, his fiance like that. But, hey, maybe, sex work, they're into it, right? Maybe he gets rough with her. Maybe she thinks that's, love, or she gets intimate with him and he kind of plays into it because that he feels powerful. Something like that, something interesting, something that shows like the mentality of power dynamics and
But what if he was
emotional
just a
dynamics.
nice guy?
No, he's a nice guy.
Well, I just want to jump in here and say that, like, when going back to like the guy who is like the main thread of this, like this weird pimp, as we've been calling him, right?
The killer
Like
pimp.
the killer pimp, right? Like he's who wants to see that guy, right? Like the only reason he's in this movie is because like maybe the director thought that this actor was a good actor and they just gave him too many lines, right? Like I don't really like seeing him. I don't want to see more of him. I'm here to see Hannah Freeman, right? Like or Fearman. I'm not sure what the full pronunciation for her name is, right? But I think that the ultimate injustice of this film is that even though, like, the thing is with VHS one, we often commented on the misogyny of that film, and with Amateur Night, a lot of Hannah's approach to that character allows for her to take back her autonomy, right? This film is way worse for her, where it's like she no longer has that power and she's naked for like the entire runtime. And it's like, it feels so disrespectful. Like the whole movie
Yeah.
feels disrespectful to not just, the audience's intelligence, but Hannah Freeman specifically. It feels like the only thing that the filmmakers internalized from that first segment was that she got naked at one point and performed like a long stretch of that film naked. And I'm like, that's not what made that short work.
We never even get anything nearly as unsettling as like when she's like contorted in that weird position by the glow of the television in the hotel room.
Right?
Like they do none of that. Like Elva said, she's just a monster. And with Mr. Nix, I believe is the name of our demon
It's
pimp
so
man.
dorky. So dorky.
Mr. Mizzleplix, sure. If anything, he should just be the build up to her. Like like after we meet her, then he should not have anything to do. Like the fact that he's like It's supposed to be this big player controlling, like he controls the police, and he's got all this. Like, what the fuck? I don't care
Is this
about his
someone's
little
fan
cult.
fiction? It feels like someone's self-insert. What does Greg Bishop look like? He looks like probably like Goff, Elton John. No, he doesn't. So who? Why did he do
He
this?
looks like a prisoner for jail in my books.
Oh man, I don't know why. It feels like self-insert fan fiction. Mr. Nix, like, oh man, and this cool guy, you know, glasses.
But and it's like half baked fan fiction because you're like, oh, he has like a Medusa woman at the club who works for him. I'm like, okay, so are we gonna reveal that he has like all these other mythological like connections and stuff? Like, no, not really. Like, oh, okay, so it's nothing.
He's got the teeth lady in the back. Don't worry. You guys ever see that movie, Teeth?
Yes.
Yeah. She's also in another room, chained up.
No,
Yeah,
Thief.
important
Thief?
distinction. Chained
No,
up.
no,
That's
Thief.
the perspective of this film.
No, Thief would have been great inspiration for SiREN. Let's just saying it.
Say that
Um,
again. Sorry.
Thief would have been good inspiration if they were going to make SiREN. I would have gone with a lot of a Thief vibe, where it just kind of builds up because I think making her a succubus harms the movie off the bat. No, sorry, SiREN harms the movie off the bat rather than just a standard succubus because the entire thing is that she is. There's like an element that is obviously alluring that pulls people in, but it's not like super obvious or super overt where you are you're feeling threatened or you feel like something's off. But when she starts to siren, she gets into the peep show room, right? And she starts singing, and then suddenly it's like he's like, oh, big fantastical magic thing happens where he sees all of his ex-girlfriends, and they're all one by one, all of his previous relations and sexual intercourse and all of that, right? And it is like, well, that kind of ruins the entire intent of that character, but also like the impact of that in the original one, because it doesn't, not her, it's just what she can do by making him see things, which is like, I think that really removes the impact of the character because like she could just be like anything. There's nothing about her particularly that other than the fact that she can make him see other women. I think that's it's really much less interesting.
Yeah, he only knows her as a mythical lady who can make him come by conjuring images of other women, and then as a monster. Like there's no like seduction or like like meet cute or anything like that where we could, because if we're supposed to believe by the end where he's like thinks he can make some kind of truce with her, we need to have like something, like some kind of like actual connection. And like otherwise it just seems like, oh, he was just hypnotized into breaking her loose because that's just, or he's just a good guy who wants to rescue women. Like I like what I don't know.
You don't want to rescue women, Doug? I heard you. I heard exactly what you said.
Yeah, I think they should stay locked up.
Confirmed.
Sometimes they're locked up for a reason. This movie shows it. If you let them out,
They get in.
this is bad stuff happens immediately. It goes bad as soon as he lets her out. So
Yeah, and there's no progression. I think that's what sucks. It sucks because like you could have had her more into, you could have them have more interplay, which is shocking because all of that kind of happens more in Amateur Night, even
with
though
less
most
screen
of it is
time.
gross. Yeah, like like the whole kind of foreplay in the bed and like the actual getting stuff, like even that has more interesting dynamics at play than the entirety of SiREN.
Yeah, it made me. I'm like, wow, like yeah, the Amateur Night was like really understated in a lot of ways.
But no, you understand. She's got to rape that guy in the ass. Otherwise,
Yeah.
this is a feminist movie.
What is the deal with that? Right? Like
Because-
it's like
Feminist.
trying.
Because there's no seduction, so she's got to rape him.
Sure. Okay. Why the brother? Why I can't even form that sentence. Why is there that character? I mean, yes, it's like one of those oldest cliches, like, oh, my fucking screw up loose cannon brother gets he's in over his head. But like, what actual, like, if we're just like to break down the mechanics of it, what function does he have? Like, if he was maybe like the bait at the end or something, and then because he's just like a fuck up who kind of like initiates them going to Bordello Blood, and then he dies. Like, right? So like, what's that arc?
You could say that about anyone. There's that guy who like he drinks the magic potion that gives him the memories of a serial killer, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm loopy and insane now." Then he dies. Um, this movie is so uninterested in its core premise. It's uninterested. So if it's not interested, why should I be interested? You know, it gives no answer to that. There's no answer to it.
Which I'm not even opposed to, like, fleshing out like I said, like, when they like hint at the Medusa thing, I'm like, oh, okay, like if you want to build out this world and like there's other magical like beings and stuff like that could be something, but it's also not interested in that. It doesn't seem to be interested in doing anything except like wasting my time.
Yeah, I know. So let's see. But,
This is a movie that's just
Mhm.
like totally like it's meant to fill a red box, right? Like this is not meant to fill like anyone's actual consciousness. I don't think that anyone's actually meant to like watch this and go, "Oh, I got something away from this." I brought up something with the cinematography earlier. This movie isn't really lit ever, right? Like
It's like
it's
it
just
looks like
like
a public
lights are
school.
there.
It's lit like an after school special.
It's
You
kind
know?
of Lynchian in a way.
Yeah, right.
Doug, you're right, but also get out of here. It's a situation where everything feels so shockingly inept, and when I say everything, I mean everything. Like no character gets any kind of reality, no 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 scare is given the right time of day,
Like,
everything
what
about it.
scare? Like, are there scary parts?
No, it's just like
I,
something that
I
alludes to horror.
when she sticks her tail in his ass, I got really scared. Like, oh, that's scary. I won't hope that doesn't happen to me ever.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd be fine with that.
If we were like in a love relationship with a succubus or a siren, I'd be like, why not? One for her, you know, for her pleasure.
Yeah, if it's consensual.
Yeah, given, relationships are about give and take, okay? And he took a lot. Um, God, that
Hey,
scene sucked.
there's a reason why he goes with her at the end, right?
Yeah,
Like he
To
got that
save his
prostate
girl.
massaged and he was like, I'm out of here.
yeah. Once you go siren, you never go back. Couldn't think of a rhyme in time.
That's about that was more effort than they put into this movie. I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree. I should remake it.
anyone should remake this. Like, literally, even if you just gave a lot of the same elements, like the same cast, yeah, anyone else could do this better. Even if you're like, you still have to like, Mr. Nix needs to be in it. It's contractual. I would find a way to deploy Mr. Nix in some. I mean,
I actually have a great idea for that. Okay, and it goes back to my thing about the Richard Matheson story, where when I said in the beginning, like I kind of felt like this could have been a prequel or a sequel. I think that if the guy at the end of Action Night doesn't die, a guy who's like skeevy doing like amateur rape porn kind of thing with not against a woman, if he like gets the love of a succubus, I feel like Mr. Nix is kind of like the logical endpoint of like if he decides if he gets the leverage of that, So I feel like that could have been interesting in this more
he
rather than him being
realizes like he can use that attachment and then
yes,
abuse it.
exactly, which I think that would have been really cool. Like rather
And
than
that
like
would actually be about something then.
that's
Like,
why I was so disappointed when the beginning is like, oh, there was a cult seance thing and it went wrong.
what the
Don't
fuck is
worry,
up with this
I'm
cult?
a magic.
They're just the
I'm a,
clan but with black hoods. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck are they doing?
because they didn't care about anything about Ryan's movie. There's no thought put into anything with this movie. It's ridiculous. But like, the sheriff goes, they told us that you were the one to talk to. Hoinky doinky doink, and like, yes, yeah, like I'm a magic man. Ooh, like, oh my god, kill me. This sucks.
think about.
Can you guys
your
hear me right now?
mother.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
coming
we,
through.
we,
I'm
we
sorry.
can hear
Sorry, go
you.
ahead. Go ahead.
Look down at your shoes and think about your memory of your mom.
Don't worry.
I have a mom? the, the one thing I wanted to say about this movie is that it's just like it's the dumb guy route every time. There's no solace from this just vapidness, right? Like it's just like every moment where it could make an interesting decision, it just doesn't, right? And I'm talking about from the actor's perspective, from the writing's perspective, everything. The only person who is doing anything in this movie is Hannah Freeman, or however her name is pronounced, right? I feel
But
as though
it's a Sisyphean task. Like she's like fighting against a script that has given her nothing.
yeah.
Oh man,
And-
I am shocked because the one of the two writers of this, right, wrote the Hellraiser movie by David Bruckner, and like Hellraiser is so fucking good.
Oh
So I'm
yeah,
shocked.
is
I
that
like
the
that.
is that the fucking
Hulu
what's
one,
the thing? Crooked Man?
the Hulu one, Hellraiser.
Oh, Hellraiser. I thought you said Hellboy for some reason.
No, Hellraiser, and like Hellraiser is so
No,
good. So like, what happened? Who did this? Like,
it's Greg Bishop.
Yeah, I agree.
Prison
Got
cellmate.
yeah. Anyway, so go ahead, Tony. You were saying?
Oh no, I didn't like honestly, this is one of those movies that like you know what this movie is? This is one of those movies where like you have a bunch of friends over and you guys are going through like a library, right? And you're
Yeah.
looking through like all the different horror movies, and for whatever reason, your dumbest fucking friend goes,
That looks
"Oh,
cool.
I heard this movie was good." You know, like they make some fucking fight for it, but the only reason they said yes to it was because they saw like a woman's back and it's naked, right?
I can relate because someone 2 weeks ago told me to watch the VHS movies because they were good.
Bazinga, bazinga, bazinga.
Now I watch SiREN, so this is going great. But
You know what SiREN is? It's centering you. You know, like no matter what you think about the VHS movies, this is how bad it could be. You know,
I'm actually putting this.
Wait,
last.
I'm about to turn on maybe Greg Bishop's because I'm looking through his IMDb. He has a short called "The Birds of Anger," which is it's Angry Birds but told in the style of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Okay, I didn't watch that.
I'm gonna beat him with rocks.
I'm gonna
What
watch.
if it's good?
What if- what if
I
it
don't
is-
want to know.
What if it is good? I mean, we'll see. Anyway, so I did want to point out 2 things I did like. One, I did like the peep show room scene where he's going through all his memories of his past loves, like past girlfriends and stuff. I thought that if I kept thinking like this would have been really cool if David Bruckner had directed it. Okay, because it's an interesting scene because it's like he's just moving through all these times that he's done it, but it's not done interestingly. It's not shot interestingly or executed interestingly. That's an interesting concept that I wish
Because
had been. Yeah.
Bruckner would have at least done something with like thematically. What does that mean now that this woman has now just become a conduit to she's basically like nostalgia porn for him.
Exactly. So there's a
Yeah.
thematic again. There's so many things where like again, he should have not been a nice guy. He should have been like Madonna horror complex guy, He's been like, okay, I can't defile my fiance like that. She's like a real person, and this succubus is not a real person, which is why I make the decision to save her from this life, and I make the decision to do all of that. And so like it should have been, it should have been it should have had that kind of context where he and Mr. Nixie maybe aren't so different, because they're like taking control of this thing. Basic things when you're writing a movie that has themes and characters that you would think of, but there's no thought. There's no thought. Like, you know what? Let's have some monsters. Let's have some gore and blood, and let's call it a day. That's what
If this was a
like
better movie, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say like I don't think it's executed well, but the idea of like when there's the scene when the cops show up and he plugs his ears while she's like pouncing on the cops and killing, like where the sounds like muffled. Like I like that
Oh,
concept, like
I was gonna
when
say that.
like an
This is
action sequence like plays with subjective sound in that way, but it's not. It's just that's just 1 second that we get that, and there's not really anything interesting done with sound in a movie called SiREN.
Yeah, I did
Mhm.
want to point out that's my second thing. I was gonna say like, there's two things I liked, and that was the first one. The second thing was when when they're in the donut shop, and he like hides behind the counter while she's like killing the cops and breaks in, and so he quickly puts in his headphones, and she like jumps up in front of him and the "I like you" line, which is like the iconic line, and she says "I like you, hooray!" And then she realizes he can't hear her, so she's like she pouts and gets annoyed like. And then she just pulls out the headphones and like that. That was pretty. That's a fun moment. And then nothing else. The entire rest of this movie sucks.
I
That's it.
hate that this movie like mines the "I like you" moment.
Yeah.
There's like several moments where they say "I like you," and I'm like, I don't need that. I don't. I
It's
don't need to see them say "I like you" a
It's
million
from
times.
The Thing. I remember it. I like the thing that I remember, so I clapped.
I did
Doug,
clap.
would you like to go to jail because Greg Bishop has a occupancy for cell
As long
nights?
as I can watch Avengers Doomsday and see all my things I recognize.
All right. So but yeah, no, because the characters are so flat that it kind of already feels like that it's super vapid about her, and I think that does do the character disservice, that does the actors disservice. It makes her more of an object, more of a prop than the original short did, in
Well,
all
and
senses.
what is it saying, that like women are trafficked are monsters? Like what's
It
the,
fucking
like
does.
idea
You
here?
can't trust them. You can't trust them.
It's so bizarre. Everything about this movie exists within an ethereal plane where reality does not exist. And frankly, that's a reality I do not want to be a part of.
That's what
You know,
Mr. Nix wants, and I'm not falling for it.
you know what? I'm really considering putting this below Tuesday the 17th. Really, I'm considering
How
it.
is this not the worst? What is the
Okay,
worst?
because Tuesday the 17th doesn't waste that's only like 10 minutes of my time.
Yeah.
It's
So, but like,
Exactly.
yeah, but also it also really sucks. I like they like I feel like I wasted in both equivalent amounts of time. Like for a
no, they're not
movie,
equivalent. One's
I
10 minutes.
I know, no, I feel like
One's a
minutes.
90-minute movie.
but the thing is they both wasted them. Saturday didn't waste those 10 minutes, and this is a movie, and that wastes that movie length experience. But like
But
they
what
level out
times
the
8
ratio.
of Tuesday the 17th?
But the proportion levels out. I mean, like if this was like
You see
if,
the-
if SiREN was like 10 minutes, I'd be like, okay, this is worse than Tuesday 17th because they're both
Oh my-
equivalent amounts of time.
That's
So I'm
called
saying-
amateur night. We saw it.
Yeah, there's
Amateur
a good
night was the
version
best
that's
version of
shorter.
Okay, so okay, so I'll put SiREN last. Okay, I'm gonna acquiesce to the crowds here. But
no, I'm
it's
not
so
shouting at you to change your mind. I'm sorry.
but-
I
but
just...
but it is funny though because
There's
I
no
was
Hannah Fearman in Tuesday the 17th though, so maybe you're right.
I know, right? Exactly. It's like yeah, it comes and goes. But I did want to say it was really funny when I was watching it. I'm like, you know what? I feel like there's probably a good short film inside of SiREN.
I
watched
wonder
it.
what that would look like.
I wonder what that would look like. Yeah. Can we talk about the ending, which sucks so much?
What a twist!
What? The rest of it was good.
No, but I feel like this is even worse because it doesn't. It fundamentally does not understand, like what's scary about these kinds of movies. Okay,
True.
because it's shot like the most low rent episode of Tales from the Crypt ever made. It shot like even worse than any of the worst episodes of the Outer Limits or than
I was
80s
gonna say a
Twilight Zone.
Sci-Fi Channel movie.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Sharknado has better like,
blocking and
effects
framing.
and better cinematography.
Because one of the horrifying things about it is that you don't know what happens. He gets picked up by Lily. They fly away, and the glasses fall to the ground. You get maybe like one glimpse of him in the distance before they just kind of get back on the concrete.
They mate for life, That's what
Exactly.
Mr. Nick says.
No, I've got to trust him, right? I trust him. He's like
He's never lied to me.
he doesn't lie. Okay, so it's great, but also like that's scary because you don't know what happens. You don't even see her actually take him. Whatever is going on up there, who knows? Who
Left to
knows?
the imagination.
But this, it's like the most corny bullshit ever because okay, she comes back and again, he's not seduced by her. He makes him think she's his fiance or wife, which is really lame because again, this is about succubus. He should want to, bang
Well,
her,
that's what I mean. Like, what does she want? Because if she's not a succubus, sirens just make you crash your thing because the song. So like they're just killing men. Like what this. If she's a succubus, then her like the whole mating for life thing at least like has like some kind of content. Like, is that a thing with sirens? I don't know. Like that doesn't
It's,
seem.
Well,
Like
the
it proves
idea
anything.
the idea of a siren is that they lure you in, right?
she does,
And
but
at no point does she lure him in. She forces him in, right?
yeah.
And that's the ultimate lie of
She
this
goes,
movie. You're just
and then he's like, "Oh, I'm lured."
like she makes exactly. It's so much less interesting if he's not cheating. You know, he's got to have that pull. That's the whole theme of like sexual
Mhm.
trading, the sexual commodity. Marketplace of that kind of stuff. It's like there's
If
nothing.
this was a good siren movie, he would really be in love with her by the end of the movie, right?
Yeah,
Like he would be like,
That would
this
be a
is
genuine conflict of like, oh, well, I'm a different person than when I promised myself to my fiance, and I like actually do want to go. Like, yes, I could save her by going with it, but just like part of me, I kind of want to there's a version where he doesn't even go back home to her at the end, where he's just like, yeah,
Mm.
I'm just gonna go with you.
yeah.
That would have been a more honest movie for what it is.
Yeah, and maybe again, I feel like there could have been that point where he turns, or he turns morally. Because I feel like again that entire thing, like, oh man, I can't call you a slut because I'm such a good guy. Like that's such a red flag. That's such a not good guy thing to say or do.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's a creep. We all know it. Anyway, so
yeah. Fuck
so we
Jonah.
fuck David Wong. Okay, in real life too, he's kind of annoying on Twitter. The real David Wong. I mean, he's such. But I like his books, but he's such like a boomer on Twitter. It's crazy. Um. Anyway, so yeah, they have sex again. He goes downstairs, realizes that his fiance's wife, actually it's a year later, a whole year. And let's see here, is actually down there. She got knocked out, and like realized, oh man, I banged the succubus again. So now we're mating again, or something. And so he tries to smuggle her out. I'm not sure what his plan was after he smuggled her out, but then
He was
his
just gonna show her the door, be like, "All right, sweetie, come on." Like, what was he doing?
We had our fun.
we had a deal, man. Verbal contract.
Yeah, you gave me your word.
Anyway, then his wife wakes up, starts screaming, and then there's a cat fight, which is always hot. And
Like, it's a fight. She just snarls at her, and then
he could have killed her in like 2 seconds. I'm not sure. It's the only reason that wife is alive because of plot convenience.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then he's like, "No, I'll go if you just let her live." And then we get this. She grabs him, and we get this cheesy ass shot where like we zoom in on the wife going Jonah and like shaking her hands, like big screen. It's so cheesy, so corny. And then we get like a wide shot of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life.
It looks bad.
Where like she's like they're static CGI models, except the wings flapping and they get smaller and smaller in the distance. They're just like resizing the aspect ratio of that, where they're smaller and smaller. But like his body is static, her body is static, just the wings. It's so lame, and it just doesn't work, and it's not evocative. It just feels so dorky to watch. Like I can't believe I watched this. I feel like I'm a worse person now for watching this.
This
The
makes
worst
Neil
part
Green
of this
movies
film-
look like Kubrick.
Ooh, I agree with that. But also, the worst part about this film is that it doesn't change the ending of the original short. There's no reason for us to watch Siren because literally the ending is the same as Amateur Night,
But
right?
worse.
but worse. There was like 80 minutes of bullshit to get to that point, right? And it's like, why would I want to watch SiREN to
And
get
you
to
know
the
what?
same conclusion?
And you know what? I think that probably the porn guy has like a better chance of surviving. I think I feel like if he could probably get
And
into
it's
it.
just more interesting to theorize what happens to him. Whereas where I'm like, what happens to Jonah afterwards? I'm like, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
And
He's
like,
gonna have sex with her more, I guess. I don't
well,
know.
but the thing is, right, when he has sex with her, she's just gonna make herself look like any other chicks he's ever had sex with. So like, what
It doesn't seem that bad. Yeah.
exactly? No, hey, can you look like my wife again? Like, okay,
Oh,
that's
okay.
good.
Cool.
That's good. Whatever.
It's boring. Unless you make that be the thing of like, oh, well, she's just other women too. Like if you like actually lean into it in
But
some
like,
kind of
just
like
like
Cronenbergian way or something.
it doesn't look like she cares, because otherwise she would try to seduce him, like Succubus would. But this isn't that kind of movie, even though it's fucking based off of. So what the fuck, man?
It's called SiREN, not Suck.
Called- She called it- Oh my god, a succubus
it
movie
does
called
suck.
Suck. But a succubus movie called Suck. That'd be great. That's a great title.
Let's call Hannah right now. Hey, Hannah, if you listen, give us a call. We'll make you a good movie.
We'll make a good succubi.
Yeah. Oh my god, a movie called Suck You By. Okay.
Oh,
That's
good.
great.
Yeah. Like James Cameron writing the S at the end of Alien. You're like, suck you.
Oh,
You
I
do
like
it
that
up.
idea where it's like she seduces a woman. There
Yeah.
you go.
Suck You By. Yeah. Great. We got it. We got this shit. Anyway, you know what? I really hate this. It's so
Or it's a
overstuffed.
good succubus versus a bad you Terminator 2 it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
there's like a moment where like Hannah Freeman like has a shotgun hidden in roses.
Yeah. She comes around the corner, you're like, oh no, oh shit. And then she pulls out the shotgun, fires at the other succubus who can shapeshift.
And then after that scene's done, she looks back at the protagonist and she goes, "I like you."
Oh yes, man, she said it. But God, it's overstuffed. It's uninterested in what the movie is about. It's uninterested in the characters. There was no purpose to this, because if you're not interested in the original premise or hook or the character and the actress enough to actually center the movie around that, what is the point?
I can't even recommend it to Mr. Nick's heads. Like like some Mr. Nick's fans are like, "Ah, this finally he gets his movie, his due," and like, no, it doesn't even serve that fan base. Whoever
I
those
can't
freaks
even like
are.
recommend this movie to Knicks fans.
It's so stupid. All right, I think I don't think we mined everything out of this really crappy movie. I can't think of anything else to say other than I'm sorry for all the actors involved, and
sorry,
I'm sorry, Hannah Fierman and Chase Williamson, and the rest, even all the rest.
And the rest.
Hannah, give us a call. We've got a better script written already.
Yeah, man, we're gonna make Suck a real thing by the end of this. I'm gonna start writing it.
Succubi.
Suck you, we're gonna make Succubi.
Well, Suck can be the first one, then Succubi is the sequel. Is that?
Right.
Oh.
You can't play your hand the first time, right?
yeah,
You got to draw it out a bit.
Yeah, the tagline will be "Now she goes both ways." Okay.
Whoa!
Okay.
Impossible.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Again, I'm not sure why this is made. I'm really not. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
because it's weird that it's literally, besides her, none of these guys have any relation to the thing. I mean, I think some of these guys, one of them like shoots or does effects for like VHS Viral, so like they're connected to VHS.
Look, it's just an excuse for them to make a shitty movie, right? And like movies have been made for less reasons before, right? And the reality is that there's no reason for this to exist beyond people who have nostalgia for the first VHS movie. And the reality is like I watched the first VHS movie when it came out. I had nostalgia for it. At no point did I ever feel the need to watch SiREN, right? Like there is no, like, it feels like what happened in Amateur Night was everything you could have mined out of that. And whoever got the ability to make a feature-length adaptation of that just had no understanding of what made that original story work, as well as like how to twist it on its head. Yeah, exactly.
But you know what it would have been better? It's making a sequel short,
like a sequel where it's like a sitcom, a husband and wife sitcom of like married with children, but now you're like married to a succubus.
Yeah, but you know what? So I do want to bring up one last thing. I mentioned like how this could kind of be like a sequel to Amateur Night in a way. If you kind of think of Mr. Nix as probably a logical endpoint of what the porn guy could eventually go into if he's able to manage things. I'd go see like you could be a prequel to Amateur Night, where like she's now free. Maybe Chase Williamson dies, kills himself, or maybe she kills him because like she gets bored of him because he's not really into her. And then like later on, she's now she's free. She's like king the clubs, and she just kind of maybe trying to relive that relationship by just finding whoever she can and flying away with them. But
I want to see where they're taking them. Right? Like at the end of Amateur Night, we don't know where they went, right? Like I want to see the cave. I want to see the cave. Like
fuck cave.
Or yeah, I want to see the fuck cave.
Or it's like
a fuck cave.
Or a house in suburbia. That'd be funny. It's just
it's really normal.
Just really lands down, like in the backyard swings. Like here's your ruins of clothes. I work.
There's a couple other guys there.
Yeah,
they're like in other rooms.
Like that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, unless everyone meet Friday.
It's like dorms.
Exactly. You know what?
Who used my toilet paper?
So we've come up with like 5 better like versions of what you could do with this premise.
That's why Greg Bishop deserves the death penalty.
It's so bad.
We went from jail to like you're like, all right, capital punishment.
Doug, if you're in there for that long, like how, like okay, now you're a burden on the state, right? Like it's either you get off the, it's either you shit or you get off the pot, right?
I don't want
like,
my tax
come on,
dollars feeding this guy.
Okay, so again, I think we got all the last thoughts out because we're let's not waste any more time.
I have no more thoughts on
we've mined everything out of this crappy movie.
I think that SiREN deserves, like, the only people who deserve to watch SiREN are people who like listen to the Dumb Friends at the hangout, right? Like there is a moment, everyone has had this moment where it's like you're sitting in the hangout and you're all just trying to decide which movie you're going to watch, right? And then like one person's like, I want to watch SiREN, right? And it's like, why would you want to watch SiREN, right? But then like for whatever reason other people are just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, let's watch SiREN. If you ever find yourself in the position where everybody is trying to watch a bad movie, let alone SiREN, right? Stand up for yourself, have some rights, don't let them walk all over you. This movie is an example of that. Don't let people force you into watching bullshit. And the only reason that you would be forced into watching this bullshit is if someone forced you into it, as I've established with this metaphor, and B, if you're VHS completionist. And the reality is that I don't think that like beyond a few there will be some exceptions from this, but I feel like they're like beyond the VHS itself. Don't stray far from VHS. VHS is a grab bag. It's Halloween. You reach into the bag of candy and you get a Tootsie Roll. Cool, a Tootsie Roll. But then you reach into it again. It's a razor blade. You don't want the razor blade. Don't keep putting your hand in there. That's all I have to say about this.
This is all razor blade.
I'm going to reach deeper in there. There's going to be something good down. Oh, fuck, my hand got cut.
You're gonna watch one Chase Williamson movie, right? Watch John Dies at the End because at least that's good.
The only bad thing I'll say about John Dies at the End is it's the movie where Paul Giamatti says the N-word, and I just can't get behind that.
but he does a touching portrayal of a black man in Paul
I
Giamatti's body.
I believe he was black. He's that good an actor. Okay.
That exactly, like he's playing it 100%
He
straight.
marched with King. Okay. We all know it.
Wait a second. Are we talking about Bubba Hotep with Ozzie Davis, or are we talking about?
They dyed me this color.
Aussie Davis is white. We all know it.
Oh my God!
Greg Bishop completed over 50 homemade movies by age 16, according to his IMDb trivia. I bet those are.
And he
It's
never
crazy
got
you can do
Siren.
that in jail.
And he never got any better, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like was his peak.
Yeah, we have Greg Bishop completionist run next. So all right. I guess we gotta make our decision then, okay? Because we got the feature length version of Summer Party Alien Abduction, okay, which
Yep.
was made. Do you want to do that next week, and then viral the following week, or want to go for another twofer?
I could do another twofer. What do you guys think?
Of kids versus aliens and viral? I feel like that makes sense.
Okay, let's do that then. Yeah, we gotta start knocking these off. Okay, make it in time for Halloween.
You gotta have some light at the end of the tunnel.
And I feel like this could end up being a revert where like the VHS movie
Sucks.
itself. Yeah, where it's like this week the VHS movie was solid, and then the spinoff sucked. This one, the spinoff maybe might be good, and then the VHS movie will be like, oh god.
I don't want to spoil too much, but I think that Kids versus Aliens is better than the original short, and it's a great film.
That sounds good then.
Yeah, I'm excited. Anyway, last thoughts all around. You, Tony.
Doug. Oh, sorry, I was going to throw it to Doug. I think that VHS 2 is like what you want from a Halloween film. SiREN is what you watch when it's an accident, right? You don't want to watch SiREN during Halloween time. SiREN is like the thing you avoid. VHS 2 is the thing that you throw on during the party. Everyone's having a drink, and VHS 2 is fucking raging in the background. So when it comes to what our positions are, I feel like VHS 2 is like a quintessential what you want from a horror film, where SiREN is exactly the opposite. Anyways, when it comes to plugs, Elvis so graciously has my profile up on the screen there. You can follow me at Poor Old Rolo Tony. You can also listen to me at These Guys Got Juice, where I'm doing my classic Vegas residency, or Elvis, then Katy Perry is the way I'd phrase it. And when it comes to other places you can find me at In Films We Trust, where I'll be doing a deep dive on Larry Fessenden films. In the Can, I've just done Wendigo and The Last Winter, so get ready for that. As well as Unbinged, where I'm talking about Task, the new Mark Ruffalo film show. I say film because I consider miniseries to be films.
I mean, they're on Letterboxd on miniseries.
Exactly, right? I'm supported in my mania. Anyways, that's where I can be found. Have a good night.
All right. How about you, Doug? Let us know what your last thoughts are.
My last thoughts are I had a good time with VHS 2, and like that's when I picture like the platonic ideal of like what a franchise like this could be. It looks a lot like this like this film, because it's like consistent, but then you also have like just like a straight up banger plop down in there where it's like it just really fucking delivers and is a hell of a short. SiREN, just stay away from it. Don't crash into it's called SiREN is like a meta commentary, because it's like if you heed that call, you will crash and die. So don't go towards the rocks. Don't
use that noggin.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at the Doug Files. It's also my YouTube. Also, as Tony mentioned, These Guys Got Juice. We've been watching some other found footage movies. Look out in the next day or so. There'll be a Butterfly Kisses episode up, and then also we're gonna be covering Savage Land soon. So look out for that.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. All right. And you know what? You guys said everything needs to be said about that. I mean, VHS2, smooth watch, not a bad one in the bunch, and all very distinctive and very fun for what they are aiming to be. Like, they have goals in mind, which is great. SiREN, goalless, soulless. Um, okay, no fanboy might be able to resist it, but everyone should.
Greg
Okay.
Bishop directs a short in viral. I might. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
we'll reverse on him. Like, oh, he's a god now.
No, I
Si-
mean, I'm just gonna kill myself.
You know how in prison they have like that technology where everything is see-through, right? Like because they're afraid of people sneaking shivs into prison. I feel like just Bishop himself should live under those rules for the rest of his life. You know,
Oh,
every camera he holds should be translucent.
okay. Also, apparently, viral, viral has like has a has has a short that's a DVD exclusive. So that's fun. I'm gonna try to track that down so I can be
Oh,
more
I should
complete
go
than
to
the
my
rest of
library
you.
then.
Elvis, if you can get the DVD exclusive short, that may not be one that I've watched. So if you can, send it my way. I would love to watch it. I've only seen this movie on Shudder. This movie exists to me on Shudder.
Shutter doesn't have it. Doesn't have it. That's weird. It's included as an extra in the Blu-ray and DVD release, starting after the end credits. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
track it down. It's gotta be like on Vimeo or something. Okay.
If you can, like, I'm not going to ask you to get it in terms of like trying to find it and pay for it, right? Like, if you
Mm.
find it, it's free, send it my way. If you can't, don't worry about it. Like,
Oh,
I doubt I'm missing much.
we're gonna see. But I know we're trying to make this as complete a list as possible because that's what the viewers deserve. All right,
It's what they need.
that's what they need. All right, so I got my ranking ready. We're gonna get all these done soon, but this ranking is looking pretty solid. I'm liking the way it's shaping out so far.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
my one might be like locked in. We'll see if anyone's gonna challenge that.
All right, but thank you guys for joining, and I guess we'll see each other next week for another twofer. Let's see if we get through it.
Let's do it. Hell yeah.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.